Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one of one.
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
All right, so it's great to be with you guys here. Episode 549. We just got back from Brazil, and one of our favorite people in the world is on the podcast today. He's kind of a big deal, very famous. He said he wanted to make sure we knew about this. We came here. He's fantastic to be around, on camera, off camera. Bryan Callen, it's great to have you back.
It's good to be here, my brother. My home away from home.
Every time he comes, it gets a little bit more suited. This is a suit for him. He's got a three-piece suit on.
I know.
For him, that's a three-piece suit.
It is.
By the next, I think 7 podcasts from now, he may have like a nice.
I want to wear a vest. I want the whole thing, bro. Every time I see you, a little part of me dies. I got to start dressing better. I need bespoke shoes with a patina sheen. And I want my suits tailored to my body.
We're gonna introduce you to this company called Stefano Ricci, and then we'll get you.
See, now just to be able to say, this is Stefano Ricci.
Yeah.
And I'll say Stefano.
This
is Stefano Ricci. Why? What's the problem?
Yeah. You need to see Julian.
For sure.
Technically, I've been corrected.
Julian Stefano
we got
guy, man.
a lot of stuff to cover here today. We just found out a few minutes ago Tom wasn't following Rob. That's why there was a big fight in the morning, and I made sure that got verified right now, so it's scored away. But for those of you guys that have been waiting for 2 hours, we accidentally posted this Brazilian time, 9 a.m., which is 7 a.m. here. So for those of you that have been waiting for 2 hours, we appreciate you, and thank you for understanding. We put Brazilian time, but we're in the States. Okay, a lot going on, a lot of things to talk about, I feel like we haven't done a podcast for a week. I don't think we've done a podcast for a week. So it's been literally a week, a lot of stories to cover. The Social Security voters, apparently there's 130-year-olds voting, and there's millions of them, and even President Trump's reading and saying, what the hell is this all about? And people are kind of looking at it, going back and forth. Canada plays U.S. While they're playing the national anthem, they're booing us. You know what's happening tonight? Tonight's the rematch of them in the city of Boston. Vinny just told me right now, that game of them talking shit is happening tonight in Boston. Oh, my God. I want to see what happens there. These guys are going to need Secret Service to leave. They're going to need protection when they leave that place talking shit to Americans.
Oh, yeah. Very aggressive.
Anyways, but you know what would be the solution? President made it very easy for them to be a solution. If they became the 51st state, we would actually cheer for them.
Of course.
Honestly, if Canada was 51st state, would we not cheer for them?
1,000%.
We'd cheer for them.
Oh, yeah.
We'd cheer for them.
You could
Maybe
start
not that
hockey
much, but we
games
would cheer for
faster
them.
with only one anthem.
Yeah,
Okay,
damn right.
a few other stories. Trump calls for Ukraine to hold elections, potentially replace Zelenskyy as he takes swipe at president's approval rating, calls him an okay comedian. And he wants, the way he's pushing him right now, calling him a semi-dictator. We'll watch the video.
Yeah.
Trump demands 50% share of Ukraine's revenue from critical minerals, oil and gas, and infrastructure based on the money that we've given them. And then up like a rocket, CNN's Harry Anton says large chunks of Americans think U.S. has been very generous to Ukraine. People are no longer supportive of that. We'll address that. Tom's got a lot to say about that. Brazil's former president, Bolsonaro, charged over an alleged coup that included a plan to poison Lula. By the way, we're in his office. We're doing the interview. We've now been with him for 4 hours. An hour we spoke with him. 3 hours was the interview. It's in the last 15 minutes. Guy walks in, Senate walks in, everyone's being texted. He's got to leave. We're like, what's going on here? We finish up the entire Bolsonaro. He gets upset. He's like, let me finish my interview. He stays an additional 10, 15 minutes than he was supposed to. And then he leaves. We're in the car, and we get a report. And that says he is being charged for how many years? 38 years.
38.
Wow. 38 years because of this. The entire experience of Brazil, I'll talk about a little bit here, was very, very interesting, but we'll talk about that. DOGE discovers millions of instances of Social Security fraud. Head of Social Security resigns after clash with Elon Musk. The real reason Elon Musk's new baby mama chose to go public. What an interesting story.
Baby mama drama.
Well,
13th
I think,
kid, 13th.
Allegedly, because he just unfollowed. I don't know what happened there. Something's going on there because he hasn't said it's his.
Yeah, but just because you unfollow doesn't mean the baby goes away.
But the point being is,
it could be somebody else's. I mean, there's
But what I'm saying to you is, if he is not saying anything about it,
Right.
something's kind
because he's
something's
pro-create. He wants as many kids as. Oh, that's
exactly,
weird.
He wants smart people to breed.
And she's an influencer. She's an influencer on the conservative right. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows
Well,
what's going
lead
on
by
there? All right,
example.
next. Trump, Fort Knox. He says, we want to go to Fort Knox to see if the gold is even there. Who knows? Maybe the gold's not there. We're going to go see if the gold is there. He kept saying that. Maybe he knows something the rest of us do not know. Stephen A. Smith reveals why he may run for president. And Stephen A., I have a message for you, man. My brother, I love you. We've been talking, but I got a message for you. I'm sure you'll see this. German prosecutor tells 60 Minutes it's a crime in Germany to insult people online as government raids offenders' homes. We have to show you this video. You have to just see it for yourself. Milei had a moment with crypto, and he sold, I think, a coin. Rob, is it true that he sold one of his coins and it lost 90%? People who bought the coin lost 90% immediately. He's got some challenges with that. We'll talk about that. I know Vinny's read up on that a lot. Trump's White House escalates feud with AP, threatens to bar reporters from Air Force One simply because they don't want to say it's the Gulf of America. All you have to do is say that. White House says Elon Musk is not part of DOGE. DOGE says it has saved the government $55 billion so far. And even Trump wants to give a portion of that savings to taxpayers. 20% of it he wants to claim. Forbes said $5,000. Some articles saying some numbers. Former MSNBC star Mehdi Hassan calls for more planes to crash. Let me say that one more time. Mehdi Hassan, former MSNBC star, calls for more planes to crash. What is he talking about? We'll address that.
He's
here in a minute.
anti-American, is what he is.
I mean,
FM.
that is just how much gold reserves does U.S. have? We'll address that. Today's inflation report is especially important. Tom's going to give us an update on that. Powell says Fed doesn't need to rush to cut rates, and big banks are scrubbing their public mentions of DEI, and a few other denim stories that just came out overnight. Hochul, Trump's move to end congesting pricing and attack on our sovereign identity. She comes out strong against Trump. That doesn't mean anything. LeVar Ball, I'm on the flight yesterday. We land. I'm like, what is this picture with LeVar Ball amputated?
Yeah.
Is that really?
And still smiling and still, yeah. They amputated his foot.
What happened?
Oh,
He just amputated his foot.
I didn't even know
The
that.
father.
Diabetes?
I
or
didn't
what?
even know that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But he's got a big smile on his face. But some bad news.
And he says he
only
still
fans,
could beat MJ.
Thank you,
What
Kelly.
just happened here?
You see
Listen,
what
it's Bryan
happened?
Callen. It's fine. He's a big star. When you're a star, they let you do it. It's fine. She came in hot.
That door just swore.
Yeah. You know what I said? I said at all costs.
Kelly, if you want to get on camera, just tell us,
Yeah,
Kelly.
it's so
You don't have to
funny.
come in like that. Just say, I want to say hi to
It
everybody,
was
Kelly.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I was about to say, that's what it sounded like.
I
Like
said
she
make
came
sure
in,
the ice
someone's
doesn't
about-
melt. The ice can't melt.
Shoot.
Oh my God, that's
Well,
so
I want
guess
a
what?
breakfast bagel
Thank
at
you, Kelly.
10:05.
Thank you, Kelly, for grabbing it. But some bad news, Vinny. OnlyFans model Lily Phillips announced pregnancy after having sex with 100 men in a day.
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
we
mean, she
did it.
increased her chances
You
when you go with
gotta
100.
use-
Something's going to happen.
You got to use
I know the
protection.
guy. He was number 64.
Trump
What a
flipped.
guy- what a
no, by the way,
guy.
imagine you're the son. Who's my dad?
You gotta it's going to be a long
One of these
you
100
gotta-
sons.
Yeah, watch
gotta
the video.
Track
One
him
of these 100.
down. Track him down.
Which one would you
This
rather have be your
episode
dad?
of Who's My Dad?
Well,
the
he looks
DNA
like me.
results are in.
It was the black guy. Which one? No, the
It's
fourth
like
black
it's like the
guy.
movie Life when they
Not
put
a
the
And
baby.
then last but not least, folks, this one here for some of you guys that are, reading the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. Odds of asteroid hitting Earth. This is the YR4 in 2032 went from 0.8% to 3.2%. Okay? So I'm just telling you guys, whatever you do and drop a prayer, the odds went up. That's 4x if you think about it. It's legit. Like something's going on there. And we may do an underground podcast. Like
I was gonna say.
bunker, a
hold on.
nuclear bunker.
Yeah,
If
of
an
all the
ast-
things you have to worry about.
Yeah, but dude, if an asteroid hits, there's no bunker, no safe. I mean, Elon needs to step up right now. Oh, you're doing everything in space. Get that thing handled now.
Yeah.
Shoot something at it now.
That's right.
Well,
All right.
what is this?
Gang.
The movie Armageddon? Relax.
By the
Don't
way,
look up.
specifically, the PBD Podcast gang, the folks that watch this podcast loyally, no matter where we go, they're there. It doesn't matter what part of the world we're in. You guys are phenomenal. Add this to your calendar. Go to vtwebinar.com and register for this. March 4th, we're making a massive announcement about MINNECT, the circle economy. Massive announcement that I want to tell you exactly what it's going to work out and how all the PBD podcast community folks can, work with each other. You'll see this. You have to hear what we're doing here with the circles economy. It's going to be big. And at the same time, on that webinar, I'll also be announcing on how you could come join us this year at the Kentucky Derby. Finish line, 5th floor, the biggest suite in the entire place with 150,000 people watching the greatest 2 minutes in sports. Go to vtwebinar.com, register March 4, 3 p.m. On that Zoom, we're launching circles. You're going to lose your mind when you hear what we're going to be doing with MINNECT here on that launch. Having said that, let's get right into it. Rob, can you please pull up the clip of Social Security voters? So here's the president, okay? He's up here, giving a speech. He's talking. I don't know if this is the one, Rob. There's the one that he's standing up there and he's actually showing exactly what's going on with the number of people that are above. I mean, we can see the number, the age of people that are voting. Is that the one, Rob? Let me see. President Trump.
There's 360 years old, yes.
It's
There's
the
one person.
Okay, go ahead, Rob. Watch this, folks. By the way, I don't know. I mean, if it's true, we'd love to have this person on the podcast.
I thought it was debunked.
If it's true.
Yeah, I thought this was already kind of debunked. Did you read this?
Which is this?
So the fact that all these Social Security things for 350-year-old, these were records of people, and a lot of these Social Security numbers have been recycled, stolen.
Well, let me read this, and then you debunk it. Okay. Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip, and we'll go through it. Go for it.
Topper, there is one person on Social Security who's 360 years old, which is approximately 110 years older than our country.
True. Rob, can you do me a favor? Go to the numbers, and then Brian, I'm going to come to you first. Go to the numbers on the age of the voters. So this is what was posted initially, which, by the way, the number doesn't add up. It's higher than our population. According to Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each bucket with the death field set to false.
Right.
Maybe Twilight is real, and there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. 0 to 9, 38 million.
So I love this as a story.
Yeah, let me read it. Let me read it. I'm going to come to you. 0 to 9, 38 million. 10 to 19, 44 million. 20 to 29, 47. Then he got 52. And then 100 to 109. There's 4.7 million people between the ages of 100 to 109. What's the next one, Rob? 110 to 119, 3.6 million. Rob, if you go next, there is more. Can you click next on there? Yeah.
Where are these stats from?
Watch this here. 120 to 129, 3.4. 130 to 139. And then it goes down. So you sit there. I'm doing the math. I'm like, this doesn't add up. 190 to... There's 448 people at that age. Okay. Brian has the insight. Tell us what's going on with this
So what
here.
they're finding, I guess, is, number one, a lot of Social Security numbers that are out there have been recycled, taken from people that are dead by illegal immigrants. That's the one thing. So people... That's actually the real story. And as far as this is concerned, this, I think, was an error when they did the accounting. They were so those Social Security numbers of people that are dead are still registered in a database. And so they picked those up by accident. So I believe all of this has already been debunked. So this is the worry that I have as we're trying to audit the government and we're trying to make a difference here. We can't get distracted by the sensational stories, because a lot of times this is taking our eye off.
You got to realize this is posted by Trump and by Musk,
of course.
So, but can you go, Rob? Do me a favor. Actually, go to Snopes, and let's just look. I mean, we do this on a podcast all the time.
Yeah.
Go to Snopes and see what they say there. It's going to refer to certain stories.
Right.
Trump's Social Security age.
And Pat, while you're doing that, I asked ChatGPT. Yes, there are people in their hundreds collecting Social Security, 100 years old and older, and then yes, a significant are collecting Social Security have passed away. A lot of them are dead, and they're collecting money. But
But would anybody be surprised if they found out that they've just been mailing checks to,
of course,
200-year-olds?
So
Nobody's shocked by that.
Analyzing Musk's claim. Can you let's look at this. Analyzing Musk's claim that 150-year-olds are collecting Social Security payment. Maybe Twilight is real, and there's a go a little lower, Rob. So this is a few days ago. U.S. Department of DOGE has a claim that including people that are 150 years or more than 20 years old were collecting Social Security payment plan widespread income. While an audit published in 2020 found that the central Social Security database known as the Dividend does include 18.9 million people born before 1920 who do not have death information on record, making them more than 100 years old. If alive, only 44,000 of them were receiving Social Security. The auditors warned the Dividend has spotty death records because these individuals died before the use of electronic death reporting. While the agency's missing death records may make it more valuable to fraud, the small number of people aged 100 or older actually collecting payments suggests it is not a widespread issue. An earlier audit published in 2015 determined that while 6.5 million people in the Numinum database were found to be over age on payments, only 266 beneficiaries. Okay, so that's important to know that. Of whom records show were likely actually under the age of 112, while the SSA has undergone some of the. So what does it say? If you go to the bottom, does it say
the bottom line is there is waste. We just don't want to get distracted by these stories.
So,
but it's not. Is it saying true or false?
It's
What
not,
is it
it's
saying?
just reporting it. It's not even giving you the. It's
Yeah, usually there's like a mostly true, false. It's not.
But
giving
this
us
has
that.
mostly been. I think it's been by conservative journalists, like the Spectator. I'm sorry, by what the heck's it called? Commentary magazine, like the conservative magazines. They have debunked this. It's not that there isn't a lot of waste in government and that this isn't a good audit that we're going to find when they do this audit. Look, you guys, it's so funny how we're talking about USAID. That's adorable. Wait till they get to Medicaid and Medicare. Wait till they get to the Pentagon. You have no, it's going to be insane.
yeah, we're gonna have like the numbers aren't gonna be able to fit on. The,
Do you know that there was the idea was when during the Cold War, there was the idea that we're going to spend, and we let the Soviets know, we're going to spend $500 on a screw because we can, and you guys can't keep up with it. There was actually a culture of that. And that was almost a deliberate sort of like effort, a propaganda effort. But when you see how much fraud there is in those agencies, buckle up.
But can I ask you a question?
I agree with that.
Yeah, let me ask you a question though. What Tom? You want to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with that. But on Social Security, maybe get past the size and scope of the sensational headline. But there are two major areas of fraud that I, as a voter, and I think the rest of Americans want to see. How many recycled Social Security numbers are out there with checks that are going to people that never paid in payroll taxes?
Right.
So they never put it into the trust fund. It was never there. Number one. And then number two, there is truths that there are people that pass away, and then all they have to do is make an arrangement with the funeral home, and guess what? Nothing gets filed, and so they still get the check from grandma, and that is fraud that's happened. And you can go and you can find
That's for sure.
a handbook that are out there. I want to know those areas. So I think DOGE opening the door that says, hey, there is fraud at Social Security. I think we need to keep looking at that. To your point, hey, let's get past the sensational headline. The sensational headline, if it turns out things are wrong, I don't want to give the liberal media an opportunity to say, hey, you're wrong, and knock on DOGE when they are uncovering a lot of stuff that's really important. Sure. And I, as a taxpayer, would like a rebate.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you why I think this story is actually way more important than even we're maybe assuming right now, even though these numbers are maybe wrong or inaccurate, whatever. But I love the fact that it's a conversation starter because, and I've said this all the time, our federal deficit was $2 trillion this past year. And we are $37 trillion in debt.
37. Can I just tell you how much
Hold
that is?
on. Let me tell you. We know.
37 trillion.
Yeah, go. Count. Go.
I mean,
One,
but
two,
it's insane.
It's.
I'm going to give you,
Yes.
keep talking because I want to give you perspective on what $37 trillion
Let me give you a little perspective. If you and Jesus went into business today.
You're so dominant.
All right? If you and Jesus have been doing, and you made $1 million a day, boom, you and Jesus, boom, for the last 2,025 years, boom, boom, $1 million every day, it still would not equal $1 trillion.
Correct.
And we're $2 trillion a year, bro.
Yeah.
So if you look at what our expenditures are, $2 trillion deficit, our number one expenditure, and this isn't discretionary, this is mandatory spending. Our number one thing is this thing on the screen right here, Social Security. Then you have Medicare, you have Medicaid. Yeah. I'll never forget, this is how I know PBD. I'm at these insurance conferences, and this guy's getting up on stage talking to baby boomer advisors. And he's basically saying that America's screwed, and he goes, there's the one reason why. And everyone's like, tell us why we don't have, and he goes, it's a 4-letter word, and the word is math. Is because we just can't pay for all this stuff. And this guy wrote a book called The Power of Zero, and basically said, do what you can to eliminate all your taxes, get a Roth IRA, and make sure that you're not basically exposed to the tax liabilities.
Here's what I want you to be thinking about. Let's say this is not right, okay? And let's say it's not being reported the right way. Let's say Snopes doesn't even say it's wrong. Snopes, Rob, can you pull up go Snopes, Barack Obama, fake,
birth
what do you call it?
certificate.
Type in Barack Obama birth certificate. Just go do Snopes. Barack Obama birth. I just want the audience to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, birth certificate.
They'll tell you it's false.
If it's
Yeah.
false, here's what it looks like. Okay?
False.
Now, go back to the other one with the age that we just showed. Okay? If you go back to the one that we just talked about with Social Security payments, right? Trump's Social Security, age. Okay? If you go to this, there is no false. It's just giving you a report. Keep going lower, lower, lower. So they don't even want to put false, partly misleading, nothing. I don't know why. Now, let me read this part. Who do you think would be most accountable if these numbers were being reported? The head of who?
Social Security.
Perfect. Rob, Vinny is so loud. Even when I lowered on mine, like I can't even know. It's not on
you want me
Vinny.
to hit him?
I've texted you guys 4 times already. I don't know what else
hit
to
him,
say.
Pat.
On mine, specifically on mine, it pops. The head of Social Security resigns. After clash with Elon Musk. Why would you resign? Yeah. It's kind of weird, no? Okay. So
maybe.
Michelle King, the acting commissioner of Social Security Administration, resigns after refusing Elon Musk's DOGE access to sensitive SSA. Nancy Altman, president of Social Security Works, explained DOGE wanted access to SSA-sensitive files the same way they're trying to do at Labor and Treasury, and the acting commissioner wouldn't give it, and she was replaced. Trump has nominated Frank Bisignano as the next commissioner, while Leland Dudek, great name, head of SSA Anti-Fraud Division, has taken over in the interim. Musk, tasked by Trump with looking into government waste, fraud, and abuse, posted a chart showing more than 20 million Americans have listed da-da-da-da-da, okay? So why would she resign after the clash with Musk, Bryan?
My guess is sometimes you resign because, one, you figure you're already going to be fired, or there's no way you can do your work under this administration because you've already been painted as a bad guy. This happens all the time. You just see the writing on the wall. So sometimes people would rather resign than get fired. I think that's probably something of what's going on. The other thing that I worry about, and we have to hold our side accountable. This is very important. We need to know that it's one thing to go in and move fast and break things. I'm all about it, man. And I'm all about shrinking government. Government has no accountability and it's too big. It's a Leviathan. We know this. Let's just make sure, I think, that we understand how these complicated systems work. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Social Security, by the way, politically is a hand grenade, especially for Trump. There are a lot of voters that rely on those. And in this state, are you kidding me? Social Security is a very delicate issue. So we have to be very careful about how we handle this. And it is a complicated thing. You can get into specifically, why does Patrick Bet-David get Social Security? He doesn't need it. Why is that? What's going on there? So there are things you can do with Social Security. Is there a play to at least privatize some of it? It is the people's bank. You don't get that money if you die early sometimes. There are a lot of issues there that we can talk about. The Cato Institute talked about, and there's some thoughtful scholarship on Social Security. I just worry about, we live in a world today, and you would appreciate this. You're a numbers guy.
You're overthinking.
Am I?
Yeah, let me tell you why.
All right.
Because here's how audits work. You know how audits work?
No.
Okay. So as a business owner, we get audited every year. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting audited. Okay, bro, every year.
It's a ledger, right?
It's not even like it's like, yeah, we're going to find out, like, for example, if you're selling a business, you tell me your business makes profits $10 million a year.
Right.
Okay. And I have to believe you. And I say, it makes 10 million? You say yes. If your business makes 10 million, based on that, I'll give you $80 million for your company.
Right.
Great. Then that's a letter of intent based on me auditing your financials to see if it's real. Then I go hire a company and I spend $100,000, $200,000. They come sit in your office for 2 weeks, literally. Yeah. 2 accountants will come sit there, and if it's a big deal, maybe more. But they'll sit in the office, and they're going through all your earned
numbers
financials, and they'll say, after doing a quality of earnings, they come back and say, no, it's actually $6.2 million, so our offer is now $48 million.
Right.
Because after auditing your financials, you're not a $10 million net profit company. Or they'll come back and say, you're actually $10.5 million. Our offer states $80 million. Great, right? So to me, auditing doesn't mean we're going to be right 100% of the time.
It's not rocket science is what you're saying.
No, all I'm saying is I love that they're tripping. And they're like, listen, if this is true, this is insane. Let's find out if it's true. That's what they're doing.
Look, it's a revolution. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he comes out and he says, He says, you know, we're going to go to Fort Knox. Why are we going to Fort Knox? Let's see if the gold is there. And then you look at the ledger. Do you know what they have on the ledger that they're pricing the average price of gold?
No.
$42. Why? If we actually price it out for what it's worth today, that's a $700, $800 billion, trillion dollar reserves, give or take.
Yeah.
So there's something. Is this the one about Fort Knox?
Yes, sir.
Can you play this clip? Watch this here, the way he says it. Why would he even say it the way he said it? Go ahead.
We're going to go into Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there.
What do you mean?
You know that we're going to go into Fort Knox. Do you know about that?
Well, look, he gets good.
That was a bad bump.
He's so funny.
We'll see what happens. But one of the things we do want to look, I mean, we hope everything's fine with Fort Knox, but we're going to go to Fort Knox. The
He's a
fabled Fort
disruptor,
Knox,
bro.
to make sure the gold is there.
But think about it.
Yeah, what's he saying?
By the way,
The gold is in
you
there,
know
we're
what
gonna
he
be very
did? Here's all he did. Just his statement of saying what? We're going to see if the gold is there.
Yeah.
When that statement makes you say what?
Is there any gold there?
Yeah, well,
Is
what
it-
if there isn't? What if,
what if
yeah.
there's-
Why are you
told-
going to investigate?
Okay, so let me ask you this
Yeah.
now. What percentage do you think the gold is there?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm at 90%.
90%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm at
I mean, I would imagine, right? It's Fort Knox.
But guess what? I don't care. Audited financials.
Sure.
If you're wrong,
Hold people accountable.
That's it, bro.
Yeah,
That's all
look,
it is.
look, you know what we're dealing with?
What?
We are looking at, in my opinion, a revolution, the likes of which we haven't seen maybe since, I don't know, Andrew Jackson. I don't know if we've ever seen this. Listen, people forget this. 1977, Jimmy Carter tried to audit the government. He tried to shrink government. He had a worker freeze. He said we are not going to hire any more federal workers. 1993, Al Gore tried to initiate an early retirement for federal workers. So the Democrats have tried to do this before. It's not just a Republican thing. And anybody who has a problem with cutting down on waste and auditing these departments, I mean, I don't understand the argument there. Let's see where the waste is. How could that be bad?
Well, but and that's what my problem is with this entire situation is the left, the Democrats that are losing their minds, yelling. They're in podiums in Washington yelling. It's like this is your one chance that we could say Democrat, Republican, Independent, all of you.
Let's get together.
Everybody get together.
Yeah.
But it's impossible for them to say, you know what? They're right because they're mad at the messenger that's telling them that they're getting robbed. Instead of worrying about the message is I'm getting robbed. We've been getting screwed over for so long. That's the disruptor that we need. Somebody in there. By the way, why is Elon doing this? Does he need money? He doesn't give a shit. He cares about the freaking country. And that's it. This was a unifying moment that they couldn't even capitalize. And it's embarrassing.
Rob, can you see how many people work for the federal government? What is the number there?
Oh, million.
Because by the way, and not to make it a political issue, but it is true that about 90% of federal workers do vote Democrat. There is that. I'm not saying that that's, but we have to.
Why are you saying it in an uncomfortable
we have
way?
We have to at least admit that this is
So nobody votes more Democrat than literally Washington, D.C.
But guys, what you're also hearing is this. Federal workers are no longer guaranteed lifetime employment. Well, who is?
Yeah.
None of us are. Bro, I'm not guaranteed. I got my show this weekend in Miami. If I don't put butts in the seat, I'm in trouble. That's
right.
up to me, bro.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But so to me,
I live in a marketplace.
Yeah, to me, by the way, the whole reason why Vinny is loud and he is low is because the name here, he is Vinny and you are guest. So I've raised him. Did you understand what happened? I'm like, I am dying here. He just came and fixed it. All right, so, but no, going back to it, all I care about is accountability, and I don't mind if you make mistakes. Our entire lives, what the left has done, specifically the left, has been trying to audit you,
right,
me. This is the first time where we're able to audit them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Guess what?
You were a business owner. How much did you deal with? In California? What was that like?
Dude, listen, we've left California since 2015. We still pay California taxes for our insurance. Well, we do. Every year we pay.
There you go.
Every quarter we pay California taxes. We don't have a choice
I'm sure.
on the insurance side. But guess what? On the auditing side, business owners are used to it. They're like, yeah, every year. What do you want me to do? But the government now, you don't want to be audited? You don't want to be audited? If your numbers are right, you're saying you're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Let's celebrate
Thank
it.
you.
Let's tell the
Thank
world.
you.
Social Security does everything right. Let's say it. However, every year when we get our Social Security statement, most people don't look at it. There's a fine, what do you call it?
Fine print.
Fine
details.
print. And
Yep.
if you look at it, it says, just so you know, the Social Security Fund is set to run out in 2035. Rob, can you go on ChatGPT or Google? When is Social Security going to run out of money? Okay? Run out of money. Okay? This is what they send to you. Okay? When is Social Security going to run out of money? Let's see what this says. Okay, I was wrong. 2033, folks. Not 2035.
That's when the meteor is supposed to hit.
So look at this. Social Security reserves are projected to be depleted by 2033, according to the latest estimate. At that point, the program will solely rely on incoming payroll taxes, which are expected to cover approximately 79% of scheduled benefits. So I'm in Brazil, and I'm talking to the president, Bolsonaro. Dude, their taxes there for business owners is horrible.
What is it?
Let me put it to you this way. So every employee gets 30 days vacation every year. You can't do nothing about it. In December, every employee gets an additional 13th month payment. So if you make 14 grand a month, the business owner is supposed to pay an additional $4,000 a month at the end. So that's now 14 months of pay, okay? Then if you work for the government, most government employees, some of them make an additional 14th month payment. So they pay you an additional. So you really want to work for the government. Then taxes, regulation. So he says, business owners can't afford to pay their employees, and employees are not making enough money to survive. The problem is what? Both ways. Regulation.
So now you got to print more money.
Yes. So to hear, for them to see what's going on in the States here, I'm excited about seeing what
Can
they're
I say one thing real
I'd like
quick
to
about
get off of Social
Security? Well, it's a function of math, just only because this. What
Adam,
year did
literally 30 seconds. We've been 40 minutes on Social Security.
Okay, well then just move on.
Okay, let's move on. All right, next story I want to go to. Rob, if you can pull up this clip while we're on it with Doge, go to the clip where Trump says he's weighing giving 20% of the Doge savings to Americans, okay? So, folks, this is kind of weird because they're saying if we find the amount of fraud that we find, that you paid money into it, they want to give you 20% of it.
I want it.
Okay? They want to give you 20% of it. Is this the clip, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Watch this clip here, folks.
Elon Musk is proposing potentially giving money to Americans based on what Doge is finding. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak, for the money that we're saving by going after the waste and fraud and abuse and all of the other things that are happening. I think it's a great idea.
How much money do you think?
Could be a lot. I mean, if it's 20%, we'd give back a lot of money to the taxpayer. And also it'd give an incentive for the taxpayer to go out and report things to us where we can save money.
Pat,
So-
what are we going to do about the deficit? Well, you tell me. You're a business guy.
About the deficit?
$36 trillion.
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to say this, and then I'll give you my answer. Because I'm going to come to you
I'm thinking
first.
about this because we should pay it off.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
So I like where you went, by the way. You went straight to a person taking care of their fine. Hey, we're getting a big return. Let's buy Xbox.
No,
Let's
no,
buy
no,
video
no.
games.
Let's pay off the
pay
debt.
off the
Yeah,
debt. Yes,
yeah.
you're thinking the right way, Tom.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this?
Well, I think this is a great idea. And unlike the government that was sending us relief checks during COVID, and some people were getting checks that didn't really need them or deserve them, you notice what they said here. To all tax-paying units, married filing jointly, $5,000. Individual, $5,000. And they were very specific about it in the follow-up. And I think this is a great idea because it sends a message to America. This was your money, and it's coming back to you because we found out where it went, and we're going to rebate you. It's a message to America. People say it's buying votes. No, it's not. He's in his second term. People say, "Oh, you're trying to stimulate the economy because you're not going to have double Social Security checks going out to people, and those double checks can't buy goods and services. So we're in a risk of recession if too much Doge." Because that's one of the arguments, right? We could have a recession if Doge finds a lot of money that we're flowing illicitly to citizens running scams, and all of a sudden that money stops buying plane tickets, Disneyland, booze, all these things.
That's a tricky argument.
It's a very tricky argument, but it's an argument that's being made.
Yeah.
No, you could cause a recession. Let people commit fraud. And I look at it and say, wait a minute. I think this is a positive message for the American. The second part I look at is I'm ready for Chapter 2, and I don't think we can debate it, we can suppose, but Chapter 2 is going to be, okay, what is some long-term deficit to get closer to a balanced budget, and what is the long-term now pay down that debt? And we got an awful lot of oil, and we're about to be the #1 oil producer in the world. If we aren't already, we are based on a projected reserve basis, and we could be just having extraction taxes on our own oil, and that tax goes back to paying down our debt. There's a lot of ways it could go in there to paying it down. But to your first question, Pat, I love this. It sends the right message to America. It was your money. It was wasteful, and here's some coming back to you.
Yeah.
You want me to give my thoughts on this? Okay. So I think this is one of the scariest things for Democrats if they pull this off.
Really?
And I'll explain to you why.
Yeah.
You know, when I first was part of this insurance company, I wanted to find a way to participate in the long term of the company. I wanted equity. Nobody wanted equity. I wanted equity because I wanted to go 20 years. I'm like, dude, I want equity on the company. If we make it multi-billion dollars, I want to participate in equity. Like, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. I'd like to participate in that. We like that. We like that you own a piece of stock options. You own the company. If it grows, I'm going to get a check. Like my guys right now, some of the, checks that the guys get from the insurance company, they're like, what the hell is this? This is part of what happens when the company makes profits. Okay. Yeah. To shift the thinking of a country, if you shift the thinking and say, every time we find wasted money, we're sending you percentage, you have the entire country supporting you.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you understand what happened
That's
right
so
there?
true.
Yeah. Because what you're now doing is you're revolutionizing the freaking game. Do you know what the opponent can do? When this may be one of the scariest. You know when he said, "No taxes on tips." I hate this guy, but I'll vote for him. No taxes on tips. Yeah, but you know what this is? This is no taxes on tips, on steroids, growth hormone, TRT, add whatever the hell you want to put on top.
Yeah.
Every single thing on top of that, that's what this is.
Right, but now let me ask you this. There seems to be a divide philosophically. One side says the only way to get rid of the deficit is to tax. But free market people say, hold on, bro, tax, give me the money so I can stimulate the economy.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And then you'll be able to have a wider tax base, and then we can pay it off.
Yeah, look,
I don't know.
Do you have friends or relatives that no matter how much money you give them, they're always going to come back for more money?
Come on. It's a mindset. It's a mindset.
It's a mindset. You were broke at 50 grand, you were broke at 80 grand, and now you're broke at 120 grand. It's not about how much money you make. Your mindset sucks, okay, when it comes down to money. Yes. And you don't want to admit it. So no matter what, those people, they're always going to have the financial difficulties. But if you get the country sitting there saying, hey, did you hear about what happened? What happened? What did I find? Find some more fraud. They just saved us another $3.8 trillion. They just got $600 billion. Yeah. Hey, we're getting another $3,800 check. Woo! Awesome. That's great. We're finding more fraud. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. Oh my God. Do you realize what that
That's
means?
That's exactly right, man. Yeah. My father always said the best way to lose a friend is to lend him money. Which is true.
Yeah, but see, doing stuff like that, remember they were hinting at a third term. That type of shit would make people go, we kind of want him to stay.
Where you going?
Yeah.
Where you going?
Yeah, wait, come back, Trump. That's when that shit changes.
We start calling him daddy.
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody needs to understand there's one thing. America is broke. I mean, we can't be any clearer about this. We're rich and broke. There's a difference between broke and poor. Poor is you're freaking Bangladesh. Good luck out there, buddy. Good luck out there in Malaysia. Good luck out there in half these countries in the world. Listen. America is rich.
What's your language?
But broke. I know. Shout out to my
Brian
Malaysians
has an
right there.
affinity with Malaysia.
But
don't do that again.
By the way, don't say anything about Malaysia.
Here's what's actually going to happen with Trump. What was Trump's highest approval rating ever?
52?
If that.
Okay.
If that. So I've been saying for years, I would love for a president in America today, in this divided, fractured country, somehow to get to 60%. Let's just break everything into thirds. There's a third of America that's like, Trump, bro. Trump, Jesus, Dale Earnhardt, straight up. And maybe not even that order. There's a third of Americans that are like, I don't care what he does, he's the devil. So remove those people. Then there's a third of America in the middle that are like, all right, let's see what we got. And slowly, he's chipping away. Boom, boom, boom. And if you said like equity in America, every time that we locate X amount of billions of dollars, you're getting a check. You're getting a choke. He's Oprah Winfreying up the whole country.
Yeah, I'll take
Next thing you know, it's my money and I need it now.
By the way,
like
for the
Wentworth.
for the people that are going to say, I thought you weren't about redistribution of wealth. No. This isn't that. This is called, we found fraud from what the government was doing, not what taxpayers were doing.
Or waste.
That's the wasted money of our money. They wasted our money. So now you're firing all of these folks and you're telling them, see if you can make it in free market. You ever go to, like I went to a restaurant the other day. What is the restaurant in Ball Harbor right next to Carpaccio? It's a French restaurant. No, it's a French restaurant. Ball Harbor,
Brian's family.
French restaurant. Okay. So it's called Les Zoo. Okay. Les Zoo. And I go over there and I love going to this place. It's Jennifer's birthday, Valentine's Day. So we go to Les Zoo. The hostess is working over there. Okay. So we go in and I said, you know, we'd like to get a table. And I point at the table. 80% of the place is empty. There is nobody there. And I say, I'd like to sit at that table. You know, I like to sit in the corner. And she says, I have 300 reservations. I said, I understand that, but is that reserved? I have 300 reservations. I said, what do you have available? I can only put you here. And she's being disrespectful to Jen and I. It's her birthday. So we went and ate there the day before. So she takes us to a table, and I'm like, wow. So they reserved that table. We go eat at this lady's name, like Yesden or something like that. With curly hair. We go eat at Carpaccio. While we eat at Carpaccio, great service, phenomenal service. Guys are doing a great job. They come back. I'm watching that table. I go back and I see the table's been empty the entire time. Okay.
Oh, man.
Then I come in and the manager sees me. He's a Yankee guy. I'm a Yankee guy. He says, hey, how you doing? How's everything? I said, I got a question for you. And she's standing right there.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, man.
I said, I came here about an hour ago and I've been watching the entire time. I wanted that table. She said the tables are reserved. Is that table reserved? He starts rolling his eyes.
Oh, man.
I said, so it wasn't reserved? No. She's on the phone acting like she can't hear. I said, before I leave, did you just hear what your boss said? The boss says what he says to her. Oh, no, I was trying to sit you whatever. I said, no. And then Jennifer comes. No.
Oh.
And you know, Jennifer is very
Jennifer
chill.
does not get into it like that.
No, you told us that table was reserved. That table's not reserved. Anybody can sit there.
Oh, my
and then she said, well, I apologize. Guess what? She reminds me of employees that work at the DMV.
Oh, yeah.
Because some people that have that power, they just want to use it.
Yeah, that's right.
The fact that they're firing all these people in the government that treat our customers like shit, let's see how you make it in a free market enterprise. Let's see how you do. By the way, flip side, we go to this restaurant called the French Steak, whatever.
Dirty French.
Dirty French.
In Miami.
In Miami.
Rickle.
Waiter comes. Francisco was a basketball player. Came to the States at 16 years old. He was going to be an NBA player, 16 years old. Mexican, falls in love. Incredible service. When I tell you royal treatment, I cannot even tell you how they treated us over there. From the guy at the front on Valentine's Day that had a red jacket on, from the guy that kept bringing us the drinks, from the lady that would bring us all this stuff. Francisco got a 10. He said, Patrick, can you please give me some love? Francisco, you were amazing. I went to the bathroom. There was a whole thing that said a girl had left a message. I heart Adam. There was all this stuff in the bathroom.
Really?
Yeah, she was hoping that Adam would come.
Oh, okay.
And have this reputation at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
But by the way, that guy's going to make it in free market, and the other girl's going to be losing jobs left and right.
That's right.
So I love the efficiency with government employees. Let's see if you can make the same kind of money treating people like shit in a free market. Tom.
I'll give you a period on the end of the sentence here. Over the weekend, Bloomberg measured 48% of America thinks it's going in the right direction. That is the highest percentage ever recorded in the history of Bloomberg keeping the right direction survey.
Wow.
So guess what? There's a lot of headlines going back and forth and a lot of things going on. But what does America think? That's what we think.
That is unbelievable when you see these stories.
PBD, what's the book you always talk about? The life cycles of a business, Barbarians to Bureaucrats?
Yeah, Barbarians to Bureaucrats.
She is just a bureaucrat just getting in your way, whereas our friend Francisco, flag carrier out there.
Francisco's a stud. Francisco's a stud.
Let him complain. Let him complain.
Yeah.
America thinks it's happening and it's going in the right direction.
By the way, what did Trump call it during election when we were there? He said this is the golden age.
It's the golden age of America.
And I'm
Vinny.
telling you right now,
Remember that.
we are freaking winning, and it's so. And I don't blame the left; they're not used to this. Like, just relax. I know it's weird. Just go with the flow and stop acting like a bunch of bitches.
I have to give Bryan Callen a shout out. Then, if you ever seen the movie The Hangover, check him out right now. 1 and 2. You remember the part of the movie when they go, "We're back, we're back," like America's back,
Finally,
baby.
Finally.
There it is.
But
Look at that young kid.
Look at this ID.
Brian, you've been in so many movies that the other day I'm watching one of my favorite movies of all time by Gavin O'Connor, Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Gavin O'Connor, what a freaking stud
That's
of a
my
guy
boy.
he is. He is him and his
He
wife.
listens to you all the
great.
time.
I love Gavin.
Yeah.
Phenomenal guy, good family.
Yep.
And I see you, I'm like, holy shit. and you killed it. You were so good, and I'm like the relationship with Joe Rogan obviously helped you out. I'm sure you watch a lot.
So Gavin wanted Rogan.
Yeah.
I call Rogan and I go, hey, do you want to do this movie? He goes, honestly, bro, I'm so busy. If it's not a ton of cash, I'm not doing it. So Gavin goes, why don't you play it? And then I said to Joe, I said, you got any advice on how to play this role? He said, take yourself completely out of it. And that's all I did. Just if you're an announcer, never talk about yourself.
There's not a better person to give you counsel. You didn't call Stephen A. Smith on how to commentate a UFC fight? No. Because Stephen A. Smith, anyways.
I love him, but he's not the guy called. Don't call fights.
No, but let's talk about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. I'm going to go to Stephen A. right now. So Stephen A., I texted him a few days ago. We're going back and forth. Stephen A. comes out and he says that reveals why he would consider running for president. All right, Stephen A. Brace for impact, buddy. Okay. Stephen A. told Daily Mail that U.S. two-party system is a joke and could drive him to run for president, stating, let me tell you why I would consider running, because I think our system sucks. I think the binary system where we could have to choose between Democrats and Republicans is a joke. I think it's this way. Is this it, by the way, Rob?
This is a clip from earlier this month. He's talked about this a few times, but this is him explaining exactly why he wants to run for president.
How many minutes is that?
It's only 39 seconds.
Play the clip. Go for it.
I doubt I'll ever run. It's not me. I live a pretty good life, and I don't want to ruin it by getting involved in politics. But I got to tell y'all something.
I'm running.
The Democratic Party looks so pathetic after this election.
I have to run.
I might entertain running.
Yeah, okay.
I just might change my mind one day. I doubt it, but I might. Because how much would it take to beat y'all? And Trump can't run again. Mm-hmm. He's done.
You know what the problem with that is? That's cute. But when you get into politics, people come to you and your fundraisers say, you better vote along these lines because the money is with us. And you're either a Republican or a Democrat. And you try to be an independent, that's cute. But the real operatives look at you like a street fighter. They just go, all right, bro, we'll see you. When you come to your senses, we'll be over here because the money's over here.
And I can't wait to hear what you have to say because you have that look in your eyes like Brooklyn does. Let me explain something to you. What he's doing, what I just said about the golden age of America, we're not. How many days are we in? Let's be honest. A month and a couple. How long, Rob?
How many days were in?
How many? The presidency. Trump got to business.
Literally 30 days.
Okay, 1 month, and this has happened. We're gonna have 4 years of this just kicking ass. I don't care anybody from the Democrat left. This mandate is going to be so strong and powerful, nobody's going to look the other way. There's nothing, I think, this is my opinion, what's a Democrat going to come and do right now to be like, no, what they're doing, we're going to do this. They are just a destructive, the past years of what Biden did, that's what are you going to run on? What are you going to run on? If it's not piggybacking of what they're doing, what the J.D. Vances and what the Tulsi Gabbards, there's no freaking way, there's no hope, there's no Stephen A. Smith. Nobody could stop this movement. I don't think so. There's no way. People have woken up, bro, and there's no way to go back to a nightmare. It's a wrap.
If the economy has a hangnail, that's what they're going to run on.
That's right.
If they can find an average person who can no longer buy a Snickers bar today and they could buy it yesterday, they're going to put that person on camera. Every little thing is going to be hyper amplified. You're already seeing it right now. This is the most important year of the Trump presidency. This is the establishment year. This is momentum year. This is getting out of the gate. This is getting it all the way so that we all have a very happy holiday and say, wow, bumpy summer, but man, I guess he was right. The economy's here, jobs are happening, and the year's ending well, because then that goes into midterms. But these cats, these dogs, these swamp creatures are going to be looking for every little thing so that they can carry momentum into midterms and see if they can shift the Senate and Congress.
As much as I agree with Vinny, the left ain't going anywhere, bro. I mean, listen, there's only two parties in this country.
Yep.
And I guarantee you 4 years from now, just like every election of our lifetime, too close to call. Who knows who's going to... We don't know who it's going to be. We don't know what the agenda is.
Unless the economy's
we don't know what they're running
ass.
on. Yeah, but it's not Trump again.
Right.
Unless, I know
J.D. Vance is...
J.D. Vance,
he's the future.
Respectfully,
he's the future.
He ain't Trump, bro.
I don't know, man. I think he's the future.
I know he's not Trump. I think he may be the future. Vivek may be there. There's a whole list of issues. But don't get it twisted. They're going to come up with an agenda. There's still 40% of America who are never going to vote Republican.
52. Well, 52%. Because 48% are
as much
saying
as
that
I
we're doing
agree
well.
with you, they have a game plan. They have an agenda.
Let me ask
and they're going to implement it.
Let me ask a different question here. So for me, let's isolate one by one because a lot was said. Stephen A. Smith. So here's the challenge he's going to face. Stephen A. Smith was on a podcast, and I said, if your mother, who's his hero, was alive today, who would she vote for? And he said she would vote conservative.
Yeah.
She would vote for
remember.
Trump. Okay, that's what he said when he was on the podcast. Okay, here's the problem he's facing. The problem Stephen A. Smith's facing is 90% of the policies of how he lives and he believes and he was raised on is on the right.
Yes.
It's not on the left. 90% is on the right, not on the left. Stephen A. Smith's conflicted right now because, he's going to get paid and he deserves every penny he gets paid. He's been number one for 20 years and dominating everybody. So
Amen.
Amen. Exactly.
Good.
Number two is he is at a certain point of your life, things like this matter. Like when you're young, you're like, dude, be quiet with this political stuff. Did you see the guy went 3 for 4 yesterday, had 6 RBIs and hit 2 home runs and at the bottom of the ninth inning, Did you see the new hit? Did you see what Easy just came out? Did you see? That's when you're young, you're not. And then as you get older, it's like, oh shit. Now he's at a phase that he's, 30s, you start paying attention to taxes. And then 40s, you start saying, maybe these people on my side are lying to me. And then at this age, he's like, no, I know it's done.
You see how that works.
Of course. So
So
for him to make a decision to run or not, he can only, Stephen A., if you're running just to say you ran and on your Wikipedia says he ran for office, run as an independent. You run as an independent, go do it like that, and you'll eventually have to go behind somebody. But if you want to run, you have to run as a conservative. But the entire celebrity community that you've been invited to the parties, the texts, the messages,
you're out.
You're permanently ousted. And that is the number one reason why guys like him who are super capable, have common sense, are incredible communicators, ought to be running. I told them, run. You ought to run. You ought to run and go do this. They know they have to go to the other side. And their worry is, do I want to lose those relationships or not? And if you don't, you can't. Independent, it's just independent's not going to happen.
No, period.
Democrat, you're not a Democrat.
Right.
Conservative, you're going to lose the Hollywood card. So what do you do with that? That's kind of what it's going to be.
How do we avoid, you're a guy, you and Tom know politics, how do you avoid, though, when you say you're a Democrat, you get these super PACs, you get the trans activists, you get the abortion activists, whoever it is, they come to you and they say, if you want our money and you need our money, you're going to vote absolutely along these lines. That's why you get someone like Kamala Harris saying, I supported transgender prisoners having the money to transition, even immigrants.
Illegal immigrant transgender.
Why did she say that?
prisoners,
Why
like
did
the
she say
good
that?
stuff.
You think she believes that? It doesn't matter. That's not the point, man. You better say across lines. If you have any nuance, you're not getting our money. So how do we avoid all those special interests with all that money? I want to know, what do we do about campaign finance reform in that sense? That might be the thing to talk about. It's not sexy. The minute I say campaign finance reform, half your audience just went to sleep. They literally I took all the energy out of their body. Because when you get into the nitty gritty of this stuff, but that might be really what we should talk about.
Listen,
in terms of
that I agree. Tom, if you want to say something on that.
I don't know.
I think there's a time and a place for campaign finance reform. And when Byron Donalds was here a couple weeks ago, I made a comment. I said, if you want to find out why Elizabeth Warren is yelling and sounding a little weird at a hearing, find out who yelled at her an hour and a half before the hearing started.
There you go.
And Byron Donalds goes, that is so true.
That's it.
And so there is that, and there is campaign finance reform, and the John Roberts decision that allowed unlimited,
Citizens United.
You could go there, but I think
I'll give you something here.
I think that's a deeper issue, and I think Pat's hitting it on the head on the surface.
I'm going to transition into this next story, and you'll see why I'm going into this next story. Okay, so Brazil's Bolsonaro, charged over alleged coup that included a plan to poison Lula. Okay.
Man, oh, wow.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a James Bond film.
So, prosecutor, again, this is AP News. Brazil's prosecutor general formally charged President Bolsonaro. Why don't they put the guy's name? They should put the guy's name. Bolsonaro with attempting a coup alleging he agreed to a plan called Green and Yellow Dagger to poison President Lula da Silva and assassinate Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes. Bolsonaro's defense called the accusations dismaying and indignating, while his son, Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, dismissed the indictment as empty and politically motivated. The indictment, based on manuscripts, digital files, spreadsheets, and message exchanges, described a coordinated effort to overturn Bolsonaro's 2022 election loss by pressuring military leaders, drafting legal cover, and inciting riots. The Supreme Court will decide whether to proceed with a trial where Bolsonaro could face up to 20 years in prison, up to 38 years, if convicted of attempting a coup. So now, you hear this story. While I'm there, I want to learn about what the system's like. We're in Brasilia. Brazil is the capital, right? But it was built by communists. The city looks like a communist city. Because they intentionally build a city in a very, like, everything looks the same. Like, Rob, if you can go to the buildings and just put images, everything, there's nothing fancy, sexy about the city, okay, when you go to it. We stayed at a hotel called the Royal Tulip, which Castro stayed at, which Chavez stayed at, which Maduro stayed at, which Xi was there just 2 months ago. We stayed at that hotel. And we went to the House, Congress, they walked us around Senate, they walked us around everywhere. We had a chance to see everything that was going on in Brazil. Interviews coming out on Monday. And while we're talking, here's what we learn about Brazil. Watch this. And why this applies to America. Americans, it's so important to realize this. Do you know, oh my God, like, do you know if Trump, his greatest accomplishment that he did on his first term, you know what it was? Flipping 3 seats.
That's right.
When he flipped 3 seats, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever. We were debating this, Brandon, a power, hand of God. You can call it whatever you want. Obama had 8 years. He flipped 1 seat. Trump had 4 years, flipped 3 seats, and one of the years was COVID year. And he flipped 3 seats.
You're talking about Supreme Court seats. Okay, gotcha.
Now here we have how many seats? 9. When he flipped at the end of his term, what was the number? Was it 6-3, Tom, or was it 5-4? At the end of his term.
Biden?
No, conservatives to liberals.
Yes.
No, I think it was 6-3.
I think it was 6-3, exactly. So he was at 6-3. The next term, if you guys remember this, what did they try to do to Trump?
Pack the cords.
Do you remember? No, Kamala Harris talked about pack the cords. But do you remember when Colorado was the first state to come out and say what? And you're like, Pat, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Off the ballot.
We want to remove him off the ballot. Then other states started coming in and saying what? Yeah, we're going to do it too. Yeah, we're going to do it too. Yeah, we're going to do it too. And then who said, pump the brakes? Not going to happen. Supreme Court Justice. By the way, what would have happened if it was 6-3 the other way around? If it was 6-3 the other way around, Trump's not president today.
That's right.
So let me explain to you. If it's 6-3 the other way around, Trump may be in jail today. His kids may be in jail today. Everybody may be in jail today. While I'm in Brazil, you ready for this? 2016, Trump wins election. They call Bolsonaro the Trump Brazil. He wins in 2018. They've both been married 3 times. They both have 3 kids from their first wife, 1 from the second, 1 from the third. Both of them, okay? Bolsonaro and Trump. Bolsonaro was in the military for 13 years as a captain. He went and became a Congress for 27 years, of which the last 4 years was with his son. Then he ran for president. Do you know how much money he had to run for president? $1 million when he ran against the left. Do you know in the Brazilian media, what they do there is anybody that runs, they decide how much time you get every day. Every morning and every night, they allot you time to go up and talk to the people. Globo is the biggest media. I think they got 39% of all the viewership of all the 9, but Globo is like their biggest one. Do you know his opponent, who was the leader, I think, the Workers' Party, a guy named Haddad. Okay, Rob, if you can pull up Haddad, tall, good-looking guy who's a full-on socialist. Haddad, no, not Haddad, Rob, Haddad, H-A-D-D-A-D. He almost spelled it like hybrid. Haddad, there you go. Brazilian Haddad, that's the guy. Okay, so this guy, Fernando Haddad, runs against Bolsonaro. Watch this. He gets every day to speak on TV, 12 minutes in the morning, 12 minutes at night. You know what they give to Bolsonaro every day? 7 seconds in the morning.
No.
What? 7
seconds.
Seconds.
Hello.
And do you know they have 2 runoffs?
Wow.
First run and there's a runoff.
How do they justify that?
Exactly the point, but they say it. We're only giving Bolsonaro 7 seconds, and he has 1 million to campaign. He ends up beating this guy. Do you know by how many votes he beats Haddad? Rob, can you pull up by how many votes he beats Haddad?
Around 1.8 million?
No. By how many votes did Bolsonaro beat Haddad, okay? Who Haddad had the mainstream media. Haddad had everybody. He beats him on the first runoff by, I think, 15 million votes. First. He beats him by 15 million votes. Look at that.
Wow.
First one he beats by, that's the second one round. That's the runoff. He beats him by 10.1 million. But on the first one, he beats by 15 million votes. So watch what happens. You ready for this? This is what I asked them on why they're going after him and why they can't. The Supreme Court in Brazil, you know how many seats it is? 11.
Okay.
You know how many's on the right? What do you think it is?
2.
2.
Wow.
2 out of 11 is on the right.
Jeez,
Everybody else against him. Senate, they have 81 senators. You know who's on the right? 22. House, they have 513 congressmen. You know how many's on the right? 130.
Oh, forget it.
That country, who has been dealing with corruption forever, is still controlled by these corrupt people like Alexandre de Moraes, who had to go back and bring Lula back out of jail. Lula, Operation Car Wash, who stole money, and he got a free apartment. That when he got the free apartment, this guy named Moro is asking him questions and saying, hey, you got this apartment. Yeah, I got this apartment. I don't even know what happened. So no, but they gave it to you as a gift. He's kind of questioning him, right? Eventually, his wife is under so much stress, she has an aneurysm, she dies 4 months later.
Shit.
When his wife dies, right after his wife dies, guess who he blames that accepted to receive the apartment? He blames his wife. He blames his dead wife. Media says, look at this guy, what you're doing. Wow. Alexandre de Moraes goes and says, no, you're not guilty. He was supposed to go to jail for 12 years. He brings Lula out. Lula beats Bolsonaro in 2022. Trump loses to, Biden. Biden and Lula are the same people. And then he's here today. The only difference today why he could potentially go to jail is because they only have 2 on Supreme Court. They only have 22 in Senate. They only have 130 in House. And it is, so when you're saying many political parties, they have 23 political parties. You have to make a deal with everybody or else you're not getting nothing done. That's
chaos,
Brazil for you.
Chaos.
Dude.
And everybody's got their hand out, living off the public trough. So they're not going to shrink it voluntarily.
Yes.
Oh, man.
This is a really important point. You can say what you, like, yes, as they do this DOGE, as they move fast, they're going to break things. Yes, they may not understand the nuances of government. Yes, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. At the end of the day, you want a country, what did George Washington say? Government should be treated like a necessary evil. The larger it grows, the more coercive it becomes. It passes taxes and it raises taxes and it passes laws. Those are coercive measures. So just know, and there's no accountability. So at the end of the day, look, every one of these agencies we talk about, let me give you an example. Every one of these agencies has an inspector general. They have somebody that's supposed to audit, that's supposed to look for fraud. And they do, but it's not good enough. What's going on? Biden's own accounting office, what did they find? 70 different government programs. Of those 70, they found, that's his department, they found 236 billion irregular or overpayments or fraud. Okay, 236 billion. That is, I believe, 1/4 of the defense's budget. Okay, so there is, and that's just Biden. So we're going to find that that's chicken feet compared to what they're going to find out.
Again, by the way, this thing, while we're there, before we go, they tell us, when we went with a team of 9, they said, you need an international lawyer. They don't want him to speak. They don't want him to talk about anything. He's not allowed to talk about anything. You know, he was the only president in the world that didn't get a COVID shot.
What?
He's the only president in the world. I mean, we can't count Tanzania and somebody smaller.
Yeah.
He's the only president in the world that refused to take the COVID shot.
I love him.
And he's very popular still in Brazil.
Popular. He can't even walk outside, guys. He can't go anywhere.
And so this is a form of a coup, isn't it?
What they're they are so worried because if this guy wins in Brazil, the way it works is if you are one term, you lose, you come back, and you can go 2 terms back to back in Brazil.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so you know what happened right
So
there.
is he not going to be allowed to run, or he is running?
As of today, he can't even run. So there's a guy named Nicolas Ferreira who is a rock star in Brazil. Rock star. He makes a post on Instagram, it gets 1 million likes. It gets 2 million likes. Any post, go look him up right now. This guy right here, he is the future president of Brazil. He's 28 years old right now. Unfortunately, he cannot run till I think 2036 because of the way they have it set up.
Little young. 28 is a little young.
He is the most popular guy in all of Brazil. We were having dinner with him last night. Rob, last night?
Is he a conservative?
I think last night.
He's conservative?
Oh, is he a conservative? Yeah, he's a We were having dinner with him last night at this one Inferno. I don't know what the pizza place was, which was the pizza.
I was on your story. He was giving you a shout out in Portuguese.
The influence this guy has is like no other. They're doing a massive march on March 16th all over the country, and we're excited to see what happens over there. But anyways, the guy says you guys need to be secure. So we had a what do you call it? A armored truck that we went everywhere with. We're being escorted. And we had the files. And eventually when we left, we didn't post anything until we got to the States here. But remember this name, folks, Americans. By the way, he's going to be on the podcast, I think, this Saturday or next Saturday. One of these, he's coming here. This guy will one day be the president of Brazil. He is loved. He's admired. He's bold. He just had a kid. He's got another one on the way. A big fan of this guy. Excited to see what he does here. So good luck to all of Brazil. The one thing, Brazil, you got God on your side.
Yep.
The one thing you got on your side. You cannot lose hope. You got to stay. Yesterday on the flight back, I'm watching Senna's documentary for the 100th time. By the way, Ayrton Senna, Tom, you want a fun fact? You know who shares a birthday with Ayrton Senna? Jair Bolsonaro. They're born on the same day. They both have a same birthday. I think it's March 21st or something like that. On the flight back, I'm flying back watching I watched the Senna's documentary and Ford versus Ferrari again. I can watch this back to back.
Yeah.
And both stories end the same way, by the way, if you think about it. But I'm watching it, and it gets to the point. I'm in a freaking plane. I'm putting blankets over him. I'm like, nobody can see me right now while he dies. And you see women crying. The only hope they had, I'm like, people are going, would you like anything to drink?
He was your hero.
I named my daughter after him. I named my daughter after him.
Because he's in that painting of yours.
To me, Senna's I wouldn't say he's my hero. I think he's a guy I respect for how he lived his life.
Yeah, like
how
a monk,
he lived
right?
his
He was like
life.
a monk, wasn't
he? He was a lot of things, but one of the questions I asked Bolsonaro, because he's very good friends with Piqué, I said, hey man, you're born in Senna's birthday, but you're a fan of Piqué and you guys are friends, so how do you handle this? His answer is funny. And he gave me a coin at the end. You have to, this coin he's only given to 5 people. Rob, who were the 5 names he said about this coin?
Oh, Putin, Trump,
Milei,
Orban, and you.
And me.
PBD.
He gave these 5 coins.
That's
cool.
And
so
this
sick.
coin, it's so interesting what it says on it. You have to see the translation. The first word is humorivel, okay, which means undieable. Okay, that's the word. It's really not a word, Rob. If you can, undieable.
I like that. It's a good name for a movie. Undieable.
The second one is imbroshavel. Okay, Rob, can you look this up? You see the word there, undieable. Imbro, IMBROCHAVEL. I'm sure Brazilians are cracking up right now.
They're laughing.
Imbroshavel. The meaning of imbroshavel. Well, let me look this up because I think you're having a hard time with the spelling. People have to know what the last one is. What does imbroshavel mean in Portuguese? Okay.
Portuguese.
Imbroshavel means unflappable, never losing potency. Like you always stay up. You're never limp. No, literally, this is the guy.
I love it.
That's exactly what it means. Like you don't need Viagra. You're always hard.
Brazilian for Cialis.
Rob, move that image off of it.
And do you know what the last one is?
Say flaccid proof, it said, right?
That's what it is. That's how funny this guy is.
Very
And then
Brazilian.
do you know what the last one is? The last one is in comivel. Rob, please look this up. The audience has to see this.
Comivel.
In comivel. The Portuguese people who are watching this right now are cracking up. Rob. In INCOV. COMOMM. Take the V out. IVEL. Definition. Okay. Means in Portuguese. Yeah. Okay. Incomivel. Well, I'll say it to you. It means unfuckable.
Inedible.
It says, no. It's specifically incomivel.
Undieable.
Yeah. Undieable. Unflappable.
Unfuckable.
That's this guy.
You can't fuck me. Now, let me ask you this. Did you feel from him, did he feel nervous and worried about?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
because he's got the world coming after.
Yeah, let me tell you what he did. He did not hold back. While we're sitting there, my translator is because he has a translator telling him, which is his son, and another girl named Lily. Guy Paulo, I love this guy Paulo. We had a great time with him. But my translator is translating to me. There's a moment where I say to him, I've been walking the streets of Brazil and asking everybody. I have one question because a country that can't find the next people to step up doesn't have heroes. I'm asking everybody who their heroes are everywhere. everybody says we don't have heroes in Brazil. But almost everyone gave me 3 names. They said Pelé, they said Ayrton Senna, and they said Bolsonaro.
Wow.
And I said, why do your people love you so much? Let me tell you what happens. I just got the chills. Rob, did you go there right now, Rob? Let me tell you what happens. I ask him this question. Vinny, I can't wait for people to see this. Tears dropping on the table. He's a Trump guy. He's not a crier. Damn. Tears are dropping on the table.
He's a captain in the military.
He's a captain in the military. Tears are dropping on the table. Insane. And he's speaking to his people. My translator in the back, he's translating what he's saying, and he's crying, Ezra's. He's crying.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Dude.
And he can't even see him. He's just hearing him. He's in tears crying. Rob doesn't even know what he's saying. Rob's crying.
Dude.
Rob is sitting in front of me. I'm looking at Rob. I'm like, holy. I'm telling you, this is, by the way, this thing, this is going to be, I can't wait for the world to see this interview. It's by far my top 10 favorite interviews I've ever done in my life. And I don't want to rank it. I have to see it myself again. And you know the list of people. Yeah. I cannot wait for the world to see this because I think Brazil desperately needs hope today. And the way they have it set up with Supreme Court, House, and Senate, they need God's help. God willing, Musk, Trump, others can help as well. I would love to go back to Brazil when there's an inauguration of him, and we go back.
I think you will be.
I'd love to see
I'm coming with
happen.
you.
I'm coming together, bro.
Bro, listen to me right now. I'm telling you right now, I'm ending every one of my shows. Tears. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And my next special, you know what my next special is called? Unfuckable.
Mine's going to be Viagra.
What is it?
Unflappable. Undiable. None of them are words.
None of them are words.
None of them
are words. He made up
words.
his own words and then tears.
It's hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
But that is incredible. That must have been that's if you're going to cry over something, that's what you cry over, right?
Brother, when you see this thing, you'll see. I mean, it's going to come out. We can't wait for it. Okay, next story. Trump calls for Ukraine to hold elections to potentially replace Zelenskyy as he takes swipe at President Bolsonaro's rating, New York Post. Rob, go ahead and play this clip.
No, not Bolsonaro. You're talking
I'm
about
sorry,
Zelenskyy.
no, President Zelenskyy, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, yes.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating, and where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. So many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And yeah, I would say that, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also. Ukraine is being just wiped out. Look at what's happening to the cities. There are cities, there's not even a building standing. It's a massive, you talk about Gaza. I mean, it's literally, these cities look like Gaza.
Okay, so Vinny, thoughts?
First of all, the honeymoon is over. Okay, and I'm so freaking happy.
Easy.
Don't you love those sayings?
I like that.
I got it from you. It's about damn time somebody said it. I mean, he's been running. It's been a money laundering scheme this entire time. Remember when it first started, Tom? The pins and everybody was pro-Ukraine. And who was it that sat here that said F Ukraine? And they knew it from the beginning what the hell was going on. Pat, was it? I don't think it was Candace. It was the girl from England, I think. Remember?
No, it was Candace.
It was Candace. And then another one that was getting into it with Adam, the girl from England.
Katie Hopkins.
That was like, we're going to spend almost $1 trillion. And you were like, we're at 350 billion. Okay, like let's go back to Trump's first impeachment. It was about Biden's corruption in Ukraine. Do you remember that, Tom? When Hunter Biden was sitting on Burisma, and remember the big guy made the billions, and they kept the money flowing to Zelenskyy and all that stuff.
And at that same time, Zelenskyy was allowed to speak at the pulpit of honor in our Capitol building.
Thank you.
And then turns behind himself and unfolds a Ukrainian flag that Nancy Pelosi helped him hold up.
Yep. So I remember that. And dude, and I just said it, Adam. $350 billion, no receipts, no accountability. $120 billion. I didn't even get the money. You want to talk about DOGE 2.0 from overseas? Enough is enough, and I'm so happy. Mind you, that attitude from Trump, Brian, it's over. And Russia's been, on the 19th, Putin, I sent the clip to him. Putin's like, yo, we're ready to talk and we want to piece it up. But dude, the money is in war. All these rhinos, all these Lindsey Grahams that are like, that's the most important thing that's happening. Bullshit. They want to freaking stop it. We need to stop it. And I'm just tired of it, bro. I'm tired of giving these guys $350. We're worrying about Social Security, a couple of people losing it. $350 billion, you know what that is?
Well, yeah,
that's a lot of money.
But actually, the hidden thing that people don't talk about is when you give this aid to Ukraine, American companies are actually making those goods and services. Yeah. So a lot of this supports the American economy. So I'm not even talking about that. Did you ever think, let me ask you a question. We talk about sending aid. So we send material, we send supplies. Did you ever think about what happens when that aid gets to the airport and is unloaded? Do you know? Do you guys know where that
our
goes?
Stuff there? Our stuff
think
in
about
Ukraine.
it. So we send a bunch of stuff. Radios, guns, ammunition, whatever it is. MREs, where does it go? What happens? Do you know? Because I'm going to tell you. So nobody asks this question. We send it. When it lands at the airport, there are trucks waiting to get that stuff, to take it to the front lines. That's not where it goes. Those trucks, all those supplies are already divvied out by who? By the people that run different quadrants of Ukraine, gangsters. Sure. And guess where that goes? It goes into their warehouses. So all that aid goes into warehouses first. And they've already met in a church and talked about who gets what. And that goes into a warehouse. And then the front lines get to buy it. And guess what groups get the aid first? The ones that prove their loyalty to Zelenskyy more than the next guy. Do you understand? You know who told me that? CIA guys told me that. That's what happens. Nobody ever asks, where does that aid go? When it goes there, there's a whole system. It's not going to the front lines. And oh, by the way, if you did a percentage on what actually gets to the front lines, the people that really need it, it would make you cry. It's probably 10%. The rest of it sits in warehouses to be sold to everybody else.
And Tom, I want to come to you on this story. And the reason, and Rob, I want you to prepare the clip of President Trump talking about, hey, we got to get some of the share of all these revenues from the minerals that you guys got. If you can prepare that clip. But I'm going to come to Tom. Tom, so story comes out, and you share this with us. Most Americans say U.S. foreign aid is wasted on corruption, okay? This is Daily Caller. Now Americans are going there, right? And Trump demanding that up like a rocket, CNN's Harry Enton says a large chunk of Americans think U.S. has been far too generous to Ukraine. This wasn't the case 2.5 years ago. That's the case today. Mm-hmm. Rob, play this clip first of the, which one is this, Rob? This
so
is
I have
Ukraine?
both Harry Enton and I also have Trump.
Play the Harry Enton and then go to Trump, and I'll go to Tom.
Holy Toledo, look at this trend line here. U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. Back when the war began, back in February of 2022, it was just 7%. Up like a rocket ship. My goodness. Up now in February of 2025 to 41%. And the clear majority of Republicans, and of course Republicans are in charge of the U.S. government now, 62% of Republicans say that the U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. What a difference from just 3 years ago. I can remember, John,
because the
all those
Democrats
backyards
ran
in the
it
United
for
States
3
with
years.
those
What are you talking
Ukrainian
about?
flags. Far fewer of them today, as Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
Oh, no, he's saying, like, including Democrats.
Right.
They're saying, dude, we're done with
if
this thing. Everybody's against it now.
Right.
And then, Rob, if you can play, was this with Zelensky's? No, it's fine. Go to the one with Trump. Go for it.
We don't get our money back. And we told them that the deal is we'll do something for the rare earth and some oil, etc., and that'll be all right. And they agreed to it, more or less. And then Scott Bessent actually went there and was treated rather rudely because essentially they told him no, and Zelenskyy was sleeping and unavailable to meet him. He traveled many hours on the train, which is a dangerous trip. And we're talking about the Secretary of the Treasury. He went there to get a document
That's
signed.
pure disrespect.
100%.
And by the way,
empty.
we knew he was there, and I'll tell you why.
But can we at least say, though, guys, that let's not forget that Russia did invade and did it with their military. Let's not be apologists to Putin either.
No, but here's the question:
Right?
Why did he do it? Why did he do it on the Biden? And why did Joe Biden, when they asked him the question, he said this, Brian, and there's a clip. He goes, "Well, they could do a minor incursion." He welcomed them to go.
Who said that?
But Joe Biden did. You can find the clip, Rob. He basically invited, but Brian, at the end of the day, this was they pushed Putin to do this. I'm not an apologist for him, but the guy's
see your
been
passport,
saying,
bro.
The guy's been saying for a while, like, bro, he doesn't want. They're pushing him to do this shit. And if you think about
Vinny,
it,
I get it. You're a Putin puppet.
Did Ukraine?
You're a Putin
Did
puppet.
Ukraine
I get
have?
it.
He's got. I can hear the accent.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
I told you.
Vinny.
I can smell vodka on his breath.
Clearly.
Be honest. Did they ever have a chance of winning this war? Zero. Absolutely zero. And how many soldiers, how many Ukrainian families are never going to see their freaking family, their fathers, or their uncles?
But it's not like Ukraine started the war. What do you mean?
No, I didn't say they started.
The fact that Russia hasn't already won the war is the most incredible thing ever.
Look, the argument would be, what they did in Chechnya, what they did to Georgia, what they've always done. The Russian bear is not somebody to apologize for. Look at Afghanistan, etc.
I'm not apologizing, but look at us too. We bomb and kill a lot of people too.
We probably could have really made them pay a price if we had armed the Ukrainians right away in the beginning of this war. That would be the argument. I don't know. I don't
Tom, your thoughts on this?
So the question that you asked me, Pat, was about Americans and how they feel. Most Americans, so there's a survey comes out done by the Financial Times, and I looked it up, and it's a fair survey. 60% of the people in the survey said that foreign aid is wasted. Wasted. My tax dollars are wasted. The only way, now let's assume 10% of the Republicans that would be in the survey, which would be 46%, let's take 4 points off. So only seeing 90% of Republicans because 4% are just war-loving rhinos. Okay, 44. That means to get to 60%, you got to have 18 points coming from Democrats, which means a unified America is coming together thanks to DOGE shining the flashlight on the bottom of the rock, and we can see all the bugs and the mud and the goo, and we're saying, oh my gosh, this is so wasteful. This is so terrible. And then you go look at Harry Enten. Harry Enten, it's like it's like aneurysm week at CNN. Every time he goes to that board and starts pointing to things, whoever's the victim, have you ever noticed, Brian, they always have some anchor come up, stand next to him and just nod for a minute. And all of a sudden you can see them shifting their weight and they're wrinkling their forehead. And they say, look, she's going to have that's a 50% aneurysm. Here it comes. Yep. And then they go. And Harry pointed out, they went from 2%, 7%, all the way up to here. Guess what? You shine a flashlight on it. Americans see it. Americans realize it. And this is the benefit of DOGE. And this is then, hang on, Donald Trump saying, okay, we all agree it's wasteful. And now more people than ever think it's been way too generous to Ukraine. You know what? I want to get something for this. And you know what? Because I know it's corrupt. You know what I want? I want rare earth. Same thing I want from Greenland, because I'm going to help the United States not get checkmated by China on rare earth minerals. And he's making deals to get rare earth minerals in Greenland, get rare earth minerals from Ukraine. And we're going to see at the end of this how the story ends, that Trump was 3 steps ahead. Because this is the stuff we need to be competitive on EVs and other things. And he's going to make sure that we're not stuck with China checkmating the world in the mining in Greenland and getting nothing for something in Ukraine. Now we're going to go back and say, no. You're going to dig that crap up and we're going to take it. And that's the way we're going to do this. And you're going to help pay us back.
But a war. Oh, by the way, and I don't. Okay, who started it? Who? Whatever. Dumping $350 million and having all of our congressmen wearing pins and celebrating and kissing his ass, bro. And nobody. By the way, this whole. And I know what people say that the Putin apologist bullshit. Okay, he starts wars and he does stuff. What about us? What about Iraq? Right. What about Afghanistan?
You know
what about Syria? We are one of the biggest ones that do it. I'm just, Bill, they're trying to push Ukraine to get into NATO. He doesn't want missiles and shit lining up around his country. He's fighting for his country.
I think what Trump also is good at, though, is when he comes to the negotiating table, he'll hit you with an outrageous claim, and then we'll scale it back from there.
Yeah,
right?
That's totally fine.
Don't, by the way, don't take him at face value every time. When he comes out of the gate sometimes, he comes out hard and strong and outrageous, knowing that you're going to counter, and this is how we negotiate. Yeah. And at the end of the day, Biden couldn't get a piece on the books. I'm telling you, this guy, at the end of the day, is probably going to achieve this peace. And that's better than having this war rage on. And so this is what he does. He's colorful.
Final thoughts.
Hunter sure got a piece.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, with Burisma, right?
Do I agree with most Americans that probably a lot of this foreign aid is corrupt and wasteful and abusive? Sure, great. But let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater you talk about. Let's not take our eye off the prize. Just first topic we talked about today. There's a big difference between millions, billions, and trillions.
Yeah.
What percentage of our federal budget do we spend on foreign aid? Do you know? 1%.
Correct.
1% too much.
1%.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's a retarded comment. Because
No, it's not
we still
retarded.
Need to have soft power around the world.
We do.
However,
we need development.
Yeah, we can't just we're ostrich.
Well,
that's what we do.
He's
We're freaking
Mr.
America.
Russia.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm a
Russia.
Mr.
What's wrong with
America.
apologist over here?
Yeah.
Russia.
But the point is, okay, we can have a conversation of what we want to do with this 1%. Sure, is it wasteful? Is it abusive? Let's look at the 99%. So I gave this analogy before. We're deeply in debt. We're hemorrhaging money as a family, let's say, and your rent is $7,000 a month, and you really should be spending $3,000 a month. And you and me are arguing whether we should cancel the Netflix subscription or have Amazon Prime.
Right.
It's
For $17.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's freaking irrelevant.
Listen.
Focus on the $7,000 versus the $3,000 rent, and then we'll figure out what we want to do.
Can we chew?
Whether it's Netflix,
we could hold on. We could do it all because
No,
Adam, we're finding out hundreds
no.
of billions. Hold on.
Sure.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. He doesn't know where the hell they are, and there's veterans in our street. No. 1% to me isn't just who gives a
Vinny,
shit.
If you were broke, answer this question legit. Broke.
Yes. Okay.
And you were spending $7,000 a month in rent.
Okay.
When you should be spending $3,000, and also you have Netflix and Amazon Prime, and I'm like, Vinny, you're broke. What do you do first?
Obviously, the seventh.
Vinny, $36 trillion debt.
Yeah.
A trillion seconds is 32,000 years. Let me say it again.
Okay.
A trillion seconds. So our debt right now, I think, is $36 trillion. Is that three? What is that? So it's 1,000 billion for a trillion.
It's
so
just a whole lot of
36,700 billion.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
So
the point is, you focus on the big
That's how
ass
much money-
number
Yeah, which they
that's
are.
weighing you down,
Yeah.
not the $7 a month.
I think we could do both because guess what? The people in North Carolina with the hurricane, trust me, they're worrying about that 1% that could be going into their pocket because $350 billion is almost $500 billion. If we didn't stop, if Trump and them haven't tried to stop these assholes, they'd go for $1 trillion. He'd be $1 trillion.
Let me use this
I love
another
the
way.
vein. I love the vein in his eye. That's when you know.
Let me say this another way. Let's say you had a heart attack.
I get your analogies. I get
no,
it.
I don't think you do, Vinny.
No, Adam, I'm America first. I don't want money to
just
anybody.
Hear me out.
Okay, you're not gonna. It's like,
And as you're falling down, you get a paper cut on your finger, and you're like, "Can we fix both?" I'm like, "Let's start with the heart attack,
Adam,
Vinny."
they're doing
you're
it
like,
all.
"We could do the
DOGE
paper
is
cut."
doing it all, so let them do it all. But the 1%, to hell with that. I want it for America. Does that? I don't
You
care
just
about everybody.
You just Venmo'd Russia money. I just saw
Focus
you
on
do
the
it.
heart attack, Vinny, not the paper cut, buddy.
These analogies aren't gonna. I'm
Okay.
America first.
All right, guys.
Vinny's fixing his paper
Somebody
cut
get
while
him a Band-Aid.
he died.
Somebody
Yeah,
get
exactly.
Vinny a
Somebody
Band-Aid.
get him
Real
a
quick,
Band-Aid.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next story. A little bit more of a lighter story. The real reason Elon Musk's newest baby mama chose to go public.
Come on, this is good. I like this.
What?
Come on, baby.
Hang on, I'm just reading. I'm reading the story here. So,
All right.
so Ashley St. Clair, a 26-year-old conservative influencer, publicly revealed on Valentine's Day that she had a baby with Elon Musk, claiming she had been forced to reveal her secret due to tabloid media probing her personal life. However, Kylie Kramer, director of MAGA group Women's America First, alleged that St. Clair went public because she was trying to elicit a reaction from Dad after Musk ignored her messages. Seems like she wasn't getting what she wanted, was emotionally hurt on Valentine's Day, and decided to parade her crazy on the front porch, thinking people would be sympathetic to her as a victim of a powerful, wealthy man. She pointed out that St. Clair's claim of media intrusion was contradicted by her inviting the media to capture it in a New York Post interview complete with a photo shot in a luxury apartment, a Manhattan apartment. Bryan St. Clair spokesperson rejected Kramer's claims as ridiculous and wrong, stating Ashley recalls one phone call with Ms. Kramer years ago at a brief meeting where she was highly critical of Ms. Kramer's ideas, and Ms. Kramer appears to be carrying a grudge. Okay. Callen, what thoughts do you have on this here? Are you following it? Or
she's I mean, look, she's 26. That's so wonderfully creepy. I mean, is he in his 50s? God bless you.
I think he owns 50,
when you have that kind of money.
How old is he, Rob? Yeah.
Listen, she's bring her up for a sec. I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
Do you know who she is?
I don't.
Okay.
Very pretty. I don't have any idea, dude. I don't know how to make sense of this. I guess he had a kid with her, and then they were outing her, and then she basically.
Adam, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this?
I'm the wrong guy to ask.
If you're going to get pregnant.
I don't know if I'm the right guy to ask on this. I guess what is the concern? What is the questions? And maybe I can help.
Well, I want to know what's going on.
Okay. Well,
why did he block her? That's
some people were relieved.
Did he block her?
That's what the rumor is.
Let me just give one piece of information, and then feel free to ask questions. I am friends with Ashley.
Oh, okay.
I've known Ashley for quite some time, and I think she's a great person. So whatever you want to know that I do know.
Well, what do you? Well, give us the tea. I mean, we're here.
I'm not here to give
Tom?
any. I'm not here to give any tea.
She's a beautiful, intelligent woman.
So let's see this here. So this is a response.
It's an odd preamble.
What is it? So what is the previous Rob? What is he saying woe to?
I'm not sure. This was her response to Elon Musk, and everybody saying she was trying to get Elon Musk's attention, and the entire release of the information regarding her being pregnant with his baby was because he was ignoring her calls. So she went public with it on Twitter. I believe, I cannot confirm this, but I'd have to look further into it. I believe the tweet has been deleted that Ashley put up.
Wait, was that it? Wait, hold on. I think, is this her tweet? Elon, we have been trying to communicate for the past several days, and you have not responded. When are you going to reply to us? Instead of publicly responding to smears from an individual who just posted photos of me in underwear at 15 years old?
Whoa.
Who did that?
So that's at least a little proof that they're in touch. How about that?
Yeah, they're in touch.
Well, but she kind of went to Twitter to get in touch with them or something.
But I mean, think about it. If you're hooking up with Elon Musk, I mean,
what's that? A picture of them together?
Yes, right, so this is apparently from, I believe, 2023 or 2024 when the first two met.
Interesting.
All
Okay.
right. Well,
so what are the facts, or what do you think is actually happening? I guess what's the concern here? Is there any doubt that
Adam? Are you her lawyer? It's just, do you have thoughts on it? If you have thoughts, say it. If you don't have thoughts, we can move on the story. All I'm saying with this is, to me, when I'm seeing something like this, I don't know what the big deal is. If a powerful man is attracted by beautiful women, that's been the case for a couple thousand years, guys. The case study is there, okay? And typically, an Elon who has a lot of kids, he
13.
wants to have a lot of kids. This will be the 13th, right?
Yeah.
And would a person like that, as smart as he is, do you think he would have a structure of how people, like I remember one time I met a guy, very wealthy guy, who had a lot of kids, wanted to have nothing to do with the responsibility of being a father.
That's terrible.
He had 20 kids, and he had a very arranged contract that was written, and he pays them a certain amount of money, and they have the kid, and he sees the kid, but that was a responsibility. Elon, you're always seeing him with his kid. You're seeing him with the kid on the shoulder and all the stuff that he's got while he's different places. Maybe he wanted to have a kid with her. Maybe they had the conversation. Maybe he's still following her, or he's not following her.
The reports are that he unfollowed her, but I can't substantiate that through any type of credible news source. It's just people on Twitter stating that.
Yeah, I had a chance to. She was at the MINNECT event, and she was very sweet. When we had the conversation together, she was. I think we had a couple exchanges at the MINNECT event. I know you guys were talking a lot together as well. But in an issue like this, some people are saying, "Wow, conservative. You claim you're conservative, this, and that. You had all these kids. Other people are saying, hey, leave them alone. If they had a kid, it's their business. Celebrate. Anytime somebody has a kid, you should just say congratulations, et cetera, et cetera. Wherever you stand there, that's your opinion. Adam.
Sure. Well, let me just give a little information here. So, in my opinion, Elon Musk is definitely the father. I think more truth is going to come out. Is anyone surprised that Elon, who already has a baker's dozen kids, maybe wants more? In my opinion, I think Elon Musk is literally going to try to repopulate the planet and probably go for 100 kids. We'll see about that. In this situation right now, a lot of people are calling her a liar. In my opinion, she's definitely not lying. The kid exists. Yeah. They've, in my opinion, definitely had a relationship, for sure. What I would speculate is there's a few major parties here. There's Elon, there's her, there's obviously a baby, and then there's an entire team of lawyers that, if you can believe it or not, are forcing her to probably sign something she doesn't want to sign or do something that she doesn't want to do because they have vested interest in him.
Sure.
What I know about Ashley, and this is based on just personal experience, if there's one thing she cares about, it's being a mother. She already has another son. She has a kid, and I know that she takes pride in that. She just gave birth to another son.
She's a class act too, right?
She's the son of, I believe, 5 months. Yeah, she's a smart, talented, classy, awesome, cool girl. There's a reason that Elon Musk was attracted to her. I don't know the reason that Elon or whatever the team are denying this. Feel free to speculate.
I'm going to say this.
I can tell you one last thing.
Yeah.
There's one thing I can guarantee. She's not a gold digger.
But if you're having sex with the world's richest man with no condom, you know what you're doing. Let's not play that game. If you're hooking up with Elon Musk, hold on, were you dating him for love, a future? Let's just be honest. If you're an adult, 26 years old, and you're having sex with the richest guy on the planet ever, are you gonna go, hey, you wearing that condom? No, because if you have a team and lawyers and everything, that could be.
How many women in the world?
Takes two to tango.
How many women in the world, when they get a DM from Elon Musk that says "sup," don't respond?
I didn't say not respond.
Every single
having
woman.
sex with no condom and then dealing with this.
So
I mean,
but
hold
on.
If he's going to pay my mortgage, he doesn't have to wear a condom with me. I'm just saying.
That's
I'm
on
a
the dude.
businessman, Patrick.
That's on the dude. Whether it's Elon Musk or whether it's Drake, whether it's LeBron, whoever it is, if you're the guy and you're choosing to have sex with a beautiful girl,
can afford it.
It's on you to make that decision.
Can I say
to wear a
something?
condom,
as a guy, it's great you're trying to populate the earth. As a guy who has 4 children, being a father is more important. And if you don't, I don't know how you have time to father 13 kids. So sometimes a little criticism, toward these guys might be appropriate. Like, you're having 13 kids, Nick Cannon, all these guys. Like, I'm sorry, that's the one thing I can't respect. You got children, bro. Raise your kids. My 4 kids, all that matters is that I'm a good father. I don't have time. I don't know how you have time with that. 13 kids? Come on, man.
And let's be honest, whose responsibility is it? You said it's a guy's responsibility to put on a condom. Men, the majority of guys don't ever want to wear a condom. Who's like, hey, I'm going to have sex. Let me put rubber latex around my penis. It's her responsibility.
Take penicillin.
Why is it the girl's
what do you mean?
responsibility?
Because something's going inside of her, Adam. No guy wants to wear a condom. Are you kidding?
I didn't know it worked that way.
Get a diagram. Get a diagram. What's he talking about?
Hold on. You mean to tell me?
You mean to tell me?
Shocking.
The girl just goes like this. Oh,
buddy?
I trust you. I trust you. Go ahead. It's a girl's responsibility to be like, that's going inside of me. Put on a condom. It's Elon Musk. I'm pretty sure she was like, get every piece of rubber out of this room right now. I don't want any latex.
That exactly. That just proves the point that it's on the guy,
the
person with the status, in terms with the money,
he can afford it
to make that decision.
He can afford
it.
There it is.
Do you saying that you don't use condoms? I don't know what you're saying right now.
Column.
He's saying he's Russian.
Vinny, if and when you lose your virginity, you maybe want to.
That's it.
That's why he's got that drip.
Guys, we learned
a lot
about a lot of people.
A lot.
And I think most of it was about us.
I'm horny.
I'm
really horny
with
right
Musk
now.
Or Ashley Sinclair.
Ladies, watch out if Elon's in the room with you. He's going to try to impregnate you.
This segment is not sponsored by Trojan Condom because Vinny's not a fan. Okay?
The men's view is over. Back to the podcast.
What happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas.
But if any billionaires want to try to impregnate me, I'm open to anything you may or may not want.
Pay my
men can
By
get
the way,
pregnant, apparently.
Meanwhile, okay?
Bring us back.
Be glad you're living in the States, because in Germany, prosecutors tell 60 Minutes it's a crime to insult people online as government raids offenders' homes. If you've not seen this clip, Rob, please pull up this clip. Guys, this is disturbing, okay? Oh, shit, we can't, right? Because it's 60 Minutes.
Yeah,
this has been the case, though.
We cannot show it,
We
Rob.
can dispute. We can play it and dispute it because it is covered under fair use. So we should be fine to play.
What
it.
happened the last time, though? No, the last
No,
time the
you'll get
interview
in
was
trouble.
taken
You'll
down.
get in
Don't
trouble.
play it, Rob.
Can I tell them, Pat, what happens in this video?
Yeah, so don't
Can I
play
show
this
it to
on
you
the
guys?
back.
CBS
show it
gets
to
really
us, and
cranky.
you actually say what's going on, Rob. Go ahead.
So basically, this person that they're going into their apartment right now with CBS embedded in their police operation, this person posted something online that was apparently racist, okay? And by the way, who's to say, because they haven't showed it, they go in their house, bro, they confiscate everything, the cell phone, the plugs, the wire, the computer, everything, and this person gets arrested for posting something. And then they ask the prosecutors, it's an interview with 3 other lawyers, they go, so listen, if somebody says something, they repost something online that you said that was mean and hurtful, he goes, yeah, you go to jail. He's like, in your face, it's still bad, but you could like insult somebody, Brian, in their face. If you post something or you repost something that wasn't true or like a funny meme of somebody, you're going to jail.
Actually, there's a caveat to this.
Yeah.
So in Germany, since World War II, after the Nuremberg trials, the denial of the Holocaust or Nazi propaganda is what is punishable by jail. And this has been happening in Germany for a long time. This is not new. This is just a news story, but this has always been the law in Germany, okay? And what probably happened here is this guy posted something that was pro-Nazi, Nazi paraphernalia, or the denial of the Holocaust. When you do that in Germany, since I think 1948, it has been illegal. And that's what's really going on.
But when they ask these prosecutors, they're like, so if somebody posts something that's not true, like, sometimes we repost whatever, X will say, community post. They were like, oh, no, you're going to jail.
Right.
What is this, Rob?
Well, in England, people are in jail right now for posting what is considered things that incite violence towards immigrants. So if you say something like, I don't think these people should be in my country, you can go to jail.
If Rob puts this on 1.5 speed, Pat, so last week at the Munich Security Conference, J.D. Vance was there, and he just shit on sorry for my language, on all the European leaders. He called them for stifling free speech and ignoring the real issues that their citizens are facing. Rob, if you put on 1.5, it'll get to the meat faster.
I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action.
Arrest.
This is where it goes.
Where 2 weeks ago, the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief.
Wow. Amazing.
And perhaps
and
most
look at how
concerningly,
unhappy they are.
I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs.
Ready for this?
A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith-Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes.
Silently praying.
Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before.
Wow. Jail.
Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility.
Amazing.
He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law.
In your house?
Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
Hey, by the way, you know who agrees with him? Most Europeans.
Yes.
You know who doesn't? The elites there.
Of course.
They were all really mad about
Yeah, you heard
that.
how quiet it was? And you know what's crazy? The Europeans and stuff, they can't go online and express themselves about the situation
Well,
because they'll go to jail.
German defense minister made a speech about how offensive that was.
But you know what he does? He goes on, and he must have written this as JD is shitting on all of them. He goes right here, and he goes, I cannot not talk about this situation. If we can't, but just the beginning of
because they're weaponizing free speech, he said.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
This is why I cannot just ignore what we heard before. I cannot not comment on the speech we heard by the US Vice President. We fight for your right to be against us.
No, you don't. No, you're not.
That is the motto, one of the mottos of the Bundeswehr, and it stands for our democracy. This democracy that was just called into question by the US Vice President, and not just the German democracy, but Europe as a whole. He spoke of the annulment of democracy, and if I understood him correctly, he compares the condition of Europe with the condition that prevails in some authoritarian regimes.
Rob, you can stop it, and it's like. And you nailed it, Brian. People from Europe. I get MINNECT from people from Canada, from all these different places. Everybody is complaining about what is going on. And dude, look at the UK with those the Pakistani guys that were doing the gangs that were doing whatever. You
grooming
can't even
gangs?
do grooming gangs. You can't talk about it. You can't point out what's happening. And if you go online and do it, they go to your house and go to jail. And could you imagine, Tom? We're Christians. We go to church. We pray. Imagine it being illegal to get on your hands and I'd be arrested because every single morning and every single night I pray. You can't pray silently in your house, and it's illegal.
The irony of what they do, the irony of these laws is they are going to usher in, already are, they're going to usher in extreme right-wing parties. That's how it happens. Because what happens is people go, really? You want to do this to me? I'm going with that guy. Mm-hmm. And so those guys inadvertently are going to usher in an extremist government if they're not careful, or parties that are not exactly in the middle or nuanced in their thinking. It's not, the left is always never ceases to amaze me in how restrictive they can be.
Look,
free speech, guys. You know why you want free speech?
Yes.
You know why? Watch this. You're allowed to say whatever you want, because guess what? You might change my mind,
Mm-hmm.
or if I disagree with you, it forces me to bolster my position. It forces me to stress test why I believe what I believe.
Point.
It's how we stay. It's how we grow. It's how we change our minds, and it's how we fortify the truth that we stand on. And if you don't have that stress test coming from you at all different angles, and you have parameters on speech, then you're never gonna get honest. You're never gonna have an honest society.
You're absolutely right.
Somebody write that down.
I
Run for office.
You know what I'm saying?
A comedian did in Ukraine, and he won.
Right? Can I get some background music when I pontificate?
Callen, I love when you go here, and I'm Miami. The improv. By the way, look at the pin that we're wearing right here. I don't think we understand in America.
I don't know how to put it on.
No, you put that thing on right now, buddy.
Bro, on my semi jacket.
Look, even PBD has it on.
Though, bro.
I'm looking good.
Listen,
right, bro. Not bad.
PBD right here.
7 podcasts from now, 3-piece suit.
This blue brings out the brown in my eyes. True or false?
Would you actually wear a 3-piece suit?
For you?
Yeah.
The next time I come here, I'm doing it.
I'd love to see what you look like.
It's progressing.
I bet you look freaking money.
Not bad, buddy.
All right, good.
Not bad.
It's getting better every time.
We're all
you
wearing
know?
a 3-piece suit.
Okay, done.
Go ahead.
I'm in.
Well, look, PBD, born in Iran, made in America. How much free speech did you have in Iran these days? How much?
These days?
Yeah. Tell me about the beauty of free speech in Iran.
Yeah.
Stop it.
There's a story here. We have it right here. Someone was protesting. They can't find this kid anymore. We have no idea how freaking lucky we have it here. And we were losing it. We were losing it during COVID.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about Elon in the last segment. Thank God that he bought Twitter for that $44 billion, and he's running a quote unquote nonprofit these days. Do you know what percentage of the world, what countries actually have freedom of speech? I think it's 20%. I want to say 30 to 40 countries out of 200 countries in the world straight up have freedom of speech. And by the way, what we're talking about in Europe right now, those are the countries that have it, and it's teetering.
Correct. Cooked.
In most of the world, you don't have freedom of speech. Name a country in the Middle East, not name Israel, that you can have freedom of protest and freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. Zero.
Yep.
Okay, so everyone, in African countries right here. We're seeing what's happening in Latin America. What just happened with Pat and Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil? We just talked about right now. We have no idea how freaking lucky we have it. And according to our friend ChatGPT, 80% of the global population is living in countries where freedom of expression and freedom of speech is declining.
Great.
Since COVID.
Wow.
So it's not like it's like, yeah, we're getting better, y'all. So we have no idea how important when J.D. Vance goes up and gives a speech and sort of reprimands what's happening in Europe. Right. It's like, pay attention, fellas, because you're actually the people we need to embrace freedom of speech. Because if Europe loses it, what's next? This is why America's important, y'all.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. You know,
anytime, brother.
Hell yeah.
We're going to keep steroids out of T-ball.
Yes, we are. No. I want steroids. I want home runs.
So, Rob, can you play this clip when they're playing the national anthem, U.S. versus Canada? Vinny, you're telling me this game was not a big deal of a game. The game that they're playing tonight.
Oh, no.
Is
America
the big deal,
beat their
right?
ass.
Well, this. Even though Canada lost in the black, this is in Canada.
That's in Canada.
This is in Canada.
But where in Canada? Do you know?
If I want to say Tom is in Quebec,
They're
we
playing
got
this in
some
Canada.
Middle Eastern or Syrian guy talking
the
about Canadian
national
hockey. This guy don't know.
And listen to the booze, folks. Go ahead, Rob. I wish you knew what this does to me.
I get... And PBD, they're 2 seconds in. 2 seconds. They're like, we're going to beat the shit out of each other.
I've never wanted to watch a hockey game as much as I want to watch a game tonight.
Me neither.
All right, so by the way, pause this here. I send a video clip. I watched this guy here, okay? Mm-hmm. He dismantles the NBA. Yeah. But folks, for some of you guys, I could give a shit about sports. Just please let this man break down what he said about hockey and NBA. And Haslam is sitting on the bottom right, doesn't even say, like, he broke down exactly why nobody cares to watch the NBA. Do you know the All-Star game? How many people watched the All-Star game? 4.6 million people watched the All-Star game.
Wow.
Okay. You know what's the second lowest? 2023. Do you know when Michael played, Rob? Can you pull up the clips of how many people watched the NBA All-Star game? Type in NBA All-Star game viewership history, okay? It's embarrassing what LeBron James and Adam Silva did to the game. Okay, go down to history.
What's happening? What is it?
Well, he's going to explain it to you. You have to hear what he has to say. Put in history, Rob, and if you go a little bit lower, it'll show you the history ratings right there. Yeah, if you go a little bit lower and just kind of see... okay, look at, and by the way, this is only since 2000. Wow. Look what the number was in 03, 13.1 million, right? Do you know what it was in the 90s? Can you please, Rob, find 1992 NBA All-Star Game viewership? 1992 NBA All-Star Game viewership, okay? Watch this. Man, I wish you could see.
Barkley,
how many was it?
18.8
million in All-Star Game.
Wow.
To 4 million. They've destroyed the league. It is the worst sport right now to own a stock in today.
Wow. Yeah.
If they don't change it, it is the shittiest product right now of all the four sports. The shittiest product. And watch what this person eloquently breaks down why hockey is winning and why NBA today is embarrassing, even though NBA has more viewership than hockey. Let this man explain.
I believe his name is PK Subban.
Go for it, PK.
You can't compare the cultures because of the way the game is played. You can step on an NBA floor and go through the emotions. You can't do that in hockey. You can't. Like, the culture of our sport, you have to play it with passion. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to leave it on the ice.
Watch this.
That's what fans are investing in. So for us, when we charge $1,500 for a ticket to come to Fortnite, fans know what they're getting.
Bingo.
Cale Makar, the best defenseman in the world, wasn't in the lineup for this game. This was the most viewed game that we've had in years. And you see it, it's not just based on the skill and talent. It's based on the pride, honor, passion, playing for the guy next to you. I got a question for the NBA players.
Boom, look at Haslam's face.
What the hell are you playing for?
What
are you playing for? It's not about the money. You make all the money. What, you're injured? Well, there's a difference between being hurt and injured. Ooh. Are you hurt or are you injured? Ooh. There's a difference.
He's talking about LeBron because LeBron didn't play the All-Star game. Listen.
We play injured. That is the culture of the sport. It's always been that way. So you want to talk about the business, the CBA. Fans get all of that. But what do fans resonate with? They resonate with what's real. You got to fight sometimes for your country. You got to compete.
Bingo.
You got to go out there and leave
That's
it on
the
the ice
language.
because those people are paying the price of admission.
Damn.
So fans know whether our stars are on the ice or not, they're getting their money's worth. The NBA has that issue that they got to work on. You got to create a better culture for your players. It starts with the leaders. This issue, there was no issue when Jordan was around.
That's right.
There was no issue when Kobe was around. There's no issue when Sidney Crosby's around. There's no issue when Wayne Gretzky was around because those are true leaders. They lead by
Go ahead and
example.
call this man racist.
Sidney Crosby,
What a
Hockey
racist.
Canada,
Oh,
the
he's
West
black.
Coast, both
What?
Canada and
Love
U.S.
this guy.
It was the players
Love
that
this
did
guy.
that for the Four Nations. That's not the
PK.
league. The league set it up, but the players went out there and decided and said, you know what, boys? We're all in. When is the NBA going to do that? Because, I haven't sat down and watched the NBA consistently since Kobe. I love basketball. Love the players. I think LeBron's great. I think KD's great. Steph Curry. Love watching them. But you got to be on the court. You got to be there, and when you're there, you got to go all in. The fans got to feel that they're getting their money's worth. And right now, there's a big difference between what the NHL's doing with those events and what the NBA's doing. Four Nations works because the players are all in.
Wow.
Rob, is there
I
any
just want
way-
to clap for this guy. I send this to everybody. I'm like, good for you, buddy.
So you're a basketball
Good for
fan?
you. I was a
if we
diehard
can
fan of
find
the
you
game.
down
I
at
mean, I'm
his
telling at the
response, Rob.
highest level, I
Yeah.
never missed a game. They destroyed a great game because of politics, bullshit, and giving all the power to players. They forgot the fans are the number one customers.
Right.
NHL realized it's the fans, NFL fans, MLB fans, NBA doesn't. NBA thinks the fans work for them. It's
Right.
a complete disgusting mindset.
When you see those guys come in and they're dressed, it's a fashion show now with the football players.
Yeah.
But is this a new thing, or has that always been the case?
Of fashion?
Well, you see, like Travis Kelce, he's dressed like a
Oh,
70s
the walk-in.
Westbrook.
No, walk
Yeah,
into the
it's,
tunnel is a
I'm
new
like,
segment.
well,
It's
it's
a
a new
relatively
segment.
new segment. in the history
And
of
just
football.
What is that reflective
NFL
of the
or
culture
NBA?
that's
And NFL or NBA?
You're talking
NBA.
NFL. What I'm talking about specifically to what he's saying here with NBA product. NBA products, Rob, if you can find the All-Star game, you have to see. Nobody cares for the viewership.
Is it the money? What's going on? What
I
happened?
just told you. They've made it about the players.
Right.
And the players own everybody. The
Right.
players have so much. And the other day, Draymond Green is saying like, yeah, we got a very bad collective bargaining agreement. What are you talking about?
They're killing it.
Your players don't even have to play, and owners still have to pay the money to these guys.
Yeah.
The owners are not protected. The fans are not protected. You know what I'd love? I'd love to take my kids to go see a good NBA game. I can't do it because it's a risk. You don't know who's going to be at the game. You don't know who's going to be playing.
Really?
No, you don't know who's going to be playing.
Wow.
You have no idea who's going to be playing.
Pat's
I don't.
absolutely right. It's a players-run league, and they're going to pay the price. They already are paying the price. Think about this. Every other sport, football, helmet on your face. They don't even know what you look like. You can walk past a DB right now. You have no clue who that guy is.
Right.
Hockey, helmet, face mask, goalie, baseball, hat, helmet. Basketball, look at this face. It's a players-driven league. Whereas every other league, it's all about the team. So what's more important, the front of the jersey or the back of the jersey? In the NBA, you better believe it's the back of the jersey. Every other team, it's the front of the jersey, right? So in the NBA, these guys, all the players have the say. So in the rest of these leagues, the ownership has way more power. So didn't we just talk a story the other day about how NBA owners are basically saying, I want to follow what the NFL owners are doing. So here's what's also happened with the NBA. And you're talking about leadership starts at the top. Ever since, who was the former, David Stern. When David Stern died, what year did David Stern die?
2020.
Okay. Since David Stern died, and Adam Silver has taken over, Adam Silver is not a badass. He's not a tough guy. He's a nice guy, and he's getting trampled on by LeBron. He's getting trampled on by KD, and the players run the league, and he answers to them. They don't answer to him.
Watch the stats here, Vinny, and I'm going to come to you. Zoom in. Look at this. But zoom out a little bit so we can see the numbers, Rob. Go a little bit. Okay, now keep sliding up. Watch this. 2024. 5.4. Wow. This year was 4.6
so
this
low.
year. 4.5. Then watch 6, 6, 7, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7, 9, 6, 7, 6, 6, 7, 8. This is and by the way, pull up when LeBron James got drafted. Pull up when LeBron James got drafted. What year did LeBron James get drafted?
2003.
Watch this. 2003. Go back to the stats. 2003 is the last time they hit double digits. The year LeBron got drafted, from that year on, nobody's giving a shit about the All-Star game. The last time we hit 10 million plus, look at that number right there. Prior to that, 13 million, 30% drop off. 7 million,
So
10 million, go lower.
The leaders in this league.
Go lower. Look at that. 17 million, 98. Last year, Michael. 17 million. 17 million, 15 million, 13 million, 1993, 23 million people watched the NBA All-Star game. Even
and it was
in
a
1990,
overtime.
in 1990, it was only 13 million. The idea of how bad, shitty, entitled policies turns off customers. The moment Juan Soto said after the game was over with, when he said, "Are you willing to, do this? What do you think about the pride of Yankees?" I'm willing to take offers from everybody.
Yeah.
The moment he said that, I don't have any decision making. I'm not a majority owner. I'm a minority guy. The moment he said that, I'm like, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. Go wherever you want to go. You forget the pride of being a Yankee.
Yep.
You forget the pride of being a Yankee. You forget, and you look at how
It becomes too much of a business, huh?
Yeah,
Everybody's their own island.
It's not even about the business part. You're all gonna make money. He is by far the most highest paid, overrated athlete of all time.
Juan Soto?
Already.
No one's ever. The numbers you look at of what kind of money they pay this guy,
It's astronomical.
for a guy to get paid the biggest contract in the history of baseball with the stats that he put up, the stats are good.
Yeah,
These
hits.
are not
He hits.
compared to the stats and the defense and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. No way. Hey, by the way, if he got $760 million, if Barry Bonds was alive today, playing with the numbers he was putting up, comparing him to Juan Soto, Barry Bonds would have deserved $2.5 billion.
I was going to say yes.
That's how much better
Yep.
Barry Bonds was than
for
this
the
guy.
sport, for the game,
To
for
give this guy
for everything.
700. Yeah, so anyways, for me, it's about the pride. Look, they're going to make a lot of money. The game's a great game, and they deserve to make a lot of money because the teams are making a lot of money. But the NBA product absolutely sucks. All in all, you know what the message is? Tonight, Canada, U.S., Boston. Tonight, Canada, U.S., Boston.
8
Well,
p.m.
my show at the Miami Improv. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
What?
Well, I mean, but
Forgive
hockey's
me.
fun,
Yeah.
but
For
Bryan Callen
priorities.
for an hour?
No, forgive
Are
me.
you
for
gonna
that.
open
Do
with
you
a fight?
believe in miracles?
You know what I'm saying?
Bryan
Yeah.
Callen is performing
Yeah.
at the Miami
Well,
Improv.
How dare we
The whole
even compare
weekend.
U.S. against
Maybe
Canada?
you'll come out. Maybe you'll come out, for God's sake.
Are you performing? Are you performing tonight?
Tonight, 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows Saturday. Take your pick. I roll out the red carpet. You come to the green room. We laugh.
He
We
loves
hug.
Do I get free water and
You
like
get
free
you
stuff?
get free. You get to laugh hard for at least an hour and
Hang
70
out
minutes.
in the green room
You don't
at
like
the
to laugh.
Miami
You've
Improv.
never seen
In
me
fact,
work.
Just to clarify, the game, the first game was in Montreal, and they were booing, and Trudeau was in the audience. You know, alpha male Trudeau.
Did you know I'm almost in my mind thinking about finding a way to go to Boston tonight to be at that game? I want to go to this game. I'm just thinking I haven't been in the freaking country for
I know.
4
It's a
days.
long- that's
It's
a- yeah.
going to be banana. It's tonight at 8 p.m.
Boston's
at the
gonna be crazy.
Didn't you take Dylan to the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup when they won the
It was
Florida?
Too loud for him. What? Was it loud?
Too loud. It was the
is it?
loudest game I've been in my entire life.
Stanley Cup?
The only thing comes closer is the Kentucky Derby. If you've never been to the Derby, have you ever been to the Derby in your life or no?
No.
Let me tell you.
No.
Let me tell you. It's the most unique sporting experience in your life.
Really?
That I've ever been to in my
Vinny,
life.
Pat, is there any room in the jet? I'm asking.
Bro.
Like I'm like a
I
friend.
like
As a friend.
Can't-
I'm home team.
Let me just put it to you this way. The most ridiculous experience.
Really?
I've never.
I'm telling you the most ridiculous
I'll bring a
experience.
hat. I'll wear my suit. I'll wear a suit.
Right.
I've
Right.
never-
I had a pink jacket on last year.
I've
Bro, I swear to God, I'll wear
Brian,
a
I've been to
suit.
Super Bowls. I've been to
And they're
baseball.
off.
I've been to every sporting thing that you could think of. Nothing. This
No, it
moment.
doesn't.
Just for that. How long is the race? It's a mile and a half, 90 seconds.
Greatest 2 minutes in sports
It's
is what they
It's
call
only
it.
2 minutes.
It's only 2 minutes.
That is-
that.
But
there's a bunch
those
of
2
races.
minutes?
Yeah. Oh, it's sick.
No, you're gonna go. It's like 9 races, and then there's 9
Yeah,
races
yeah.
the day before.
Yeah.
It's a 150,000 people.
Oh.
We got the biggest suite, 5th floor, MINNECT, March 4th. Put it in your
Oh,
calendar.
nice.
Go to
We want you
VT's
to-
webinar and
Vinny,
register
Vinny,
for it.
ask me if I can ride a horse.
Hey, Brian, can you ride a horse?
I can break a horse, brother.
Oh,
damn.
Jesus,
See how
serious.
that's sexy.
That just
Did you
happened.
see that?
You know the first time him and I met?
What?
Was at the Cavalier in
Yes,
Burbank.
dude. Dude.
What was it?
15 years ago.
Yes.
It was a horse
Maybe
show.
more.
Maybe more. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
maybe more.
15, about
What were you guys
Yeah.
doing there?
I had my kids. My daughter wanted to. She was a horse.
Oh, to see them.
It's a
I
sick
spent
show.
The
Oh,
amount of
okay.
money I spent on horses for my kid, my ex, and my daughter who would ride horses. My
Oh,
accountant
that's
calls me.
rich.
He goes, "How's the album going?" I go, "What?" He goes, "How's the album? What's it like to play for all those people?" I go, "It's Bryan Callen. I mean, I play for people, but not that many." He goes, "You're not a rock star?" I go, No, he goes, well, then stop spending like these horses. You're going to be broke.
That's a good accountant.
Bro,
That's good.
He's a great,
That's a good accountant.
You know what he said to me? He goes, what kind of car do you want to drive? I said, what do you mean? He goes, for what you pay for these horses, what do you want to, I go, what can I drive? He goes, pick anything. Pick any car. You could drive that car right now.
No,
that's
it's
how
an
much
expensive sport.
Bro,
it's an expensive
it's
sport.
so expensive.
Speaking of rock star, everyone and their mother was going up and taking pictures with Vinny last year at the Kentucky Derby. Like, wow, this guy's famous. They thought he was a jockey. They're like, oh, these guys, these little tiny guys.
One guy was like,
why aren't you putting on a suit? You got to be on the horse.
Yeah, they got that. Dude, people.
And he said, I break a horse.
You got me.
Yeah, 200 photos.
Hey, he's 5'3". He's 5'3".
Patrick, you ever ride a horse?
Yes.
You did.
Well,
Once.
so we're at the Hampton Summer,
Yeah.
right? And we take the kids out to get on
PBD
the
had a
horse.
horse.
First of all,
He's a
I
big
put
man.
my daughter. If I find this video, it's so funny.
The
Brooklyn.
horse looks at Pat and goes,
yeah, he's too big. He's too big.
So we get on this
guy's
horse.
6'4", 240.
My dad's same way.
We get on the horse, and
These
I'm like,
pictures right
listen,
here,
I
Pat?
told my wife, I'm like, babe, if we're getting on a horse, 20 to 30 minutes
Is
the
that a real
max.
picture of your body right there?
Yeah,
oh, look at this guy's jacked.
Get the
He just ate a horse
you
right
kidding me
there.
right?
I'm
Hold
18
on.
years old.
Hold on.
18?
Yeah.
What?
18.
What are we talking about?
I'm
No
18 years old.
steroids. No steroids.
Bro,
That's nothing.
that's
I'm
some
telling you, that's
Assyrian
nothing.
genetics, bro. That's
Say
that's,
something.
That's
18
from
years old.
generations of
Say something.
persecution.
We're warriors. We're warriors.
You should see the pictures of Tom. There's Tom there on the left.
Look at
Bro,
Tom.
right there.
Dorian Yates.
Hey, Patrick, you're a big boy. That's no
Yeah,
joke.
Yeah. So,
that tan.
if I find this clip, man, it was so funny. So we go to the Hamptons, and
with
we're
Brooklyn. She's
with
like,
Brooklyn, and this horse comes up, and the moment the horse moves the neck a little bit, she was
I don't want it. I don't
gone.
want it.
By the way, we went on a horse ride for an hour and a half. It was an hour and 15 minutes too long. By the time we got off, one of my testicles, I couldn't have a kid anymore. My voice changed.
You guys,
Vinny, where are we going tonight?
You
It
got
was a
chafe
complete
marks.
different-
Maybe we need to buy Elon
This
Musk
is
a
it.
horse.
This was it.
Oh,
It was a
that's
great experience,
There's nothing,
but you
but
will
there's
never.
nothing relaxing about it.
I will never
No.
do it for 90 minutes.
No, too much. Way too much.
It's too much. 90 minutes too
Your
much for me.
balls,
But we'll go to
your
the Derby.
Your taint.
Rob,
Hey, go back to that last picture right there.
Chafed.
That's a good
I
picture.
love
Hey,
baby
Papa.
Brooklyn.
I
She
love her.
loves
So cute.
Papa.
I mean, I'm looking at the
She-
Papa.
this
and the
morning she
Brooklyn.
sees me. She runs up. She has the bed. She's the one that when she sees you, and she hasn't seen you for a second,
Yeah.
it's too long. But she sees me. She hasn't seen me for 4 days.
Oh.
She says, "Daddy, where were you, Daddy? I miss you, Daddy. Where were you?" That's Brooklyn. She's
The greatest.
She's
Been working me though. She'll hug me. She'll cuddle. Then she'll be like, "I want a pink purse."
You're great with kids. He's
I
great
love
with,
him.
with my
No,
kid.
they love him.
We sent my kid a gift.
I love him.
They love him. They love Vinny. Okay, Rob, is there a story that we haven't covered that we should cover? A story. Okay, I'll do this one here, Tom. EU denies making offer to U.S. on lowering its tariff for cars. Okay, this is a Bloomberg story. And Tom, I'm coming to you first. The European Union denies making any offer to lower tariffs on U.S. cars, contradicting President Trump's claim that EU had already reduced them. The European Commission stated that any tariff reductions must be mutually beneficial, negotiated within a fair and rules-based framework. Trump has been pushing for a reduction in EU's 10% tariff on U.S. cars, compared for the U.S.'s 2.5% tariff on European vehicles. Trump announced 25% tariff on imports of steel and aluminum, and hinted at higher auto tariffs, which would particularly impact German automakers. EU Trade Chief Maros Sefcovic is scheduled to meet with Trump's Commerce Secretary nominee, Howard Lutnick, Trade Representative nominee, Jamie Courier, to discuss these matters. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
This is a great story. Whenever you hear the EU say, we're sending all of our guys over to meet all of your guys. No, don't come here. We'll come to you. We'll come to you. We'll be there in a minute. We're gonna be right in the area. We'll drop by. And Trump is saying they've already made the decision to drop their tariffs. They've already made a decision to lower the tariffs.
You got to use a lower voice.
And they're like,
Tom.
no, we haven't done that yet. We haven't done that yet. This is just like when a running back denies slapping his girlfriend. You know he did it.
Of course.
Of course he did it.
Damn.
He did it twice. He did it 3 times. This is the time we caught him. And so the EU, this is a sign that Trump's negotiation through tariffs are working. This guy's going to come over here, and we are going to see a deal happen and them opening up to allow U.S. automakers, most notably Ford. Ford has a line of smaller cars. If you've been to Europe, people favor them.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah, well, no, not like minis, but they favor the smaller four-door car that fits in cities and everything. Yeah. And Ford makes a lot of those. They make them better than GM does. If you go over to Germany, you see a lot of those little Fords. The old Ford Fiesta, if you remember long ago. They call it something else now.
Sounds like a party to me.
But that's what's going on here. So what's going on here? No, we're not doing that, but we're sending our guys to your house, to your place, and are you all home? Because we really like to talk. You're not coming over here to talk and say nothing. As they said, Glenn Ross,
coffees for closers.
A guy doesn't walk on the lot unless he wants to buy.
I thought you were going with the coffee for closers line. That's the line.
You watch. The tariffs are going to come down, and there's going to be a little announcement.
Again,
made.
it's what Trump does. He'll start with something like crazy and say something, and people go, "Oh, hold on, that's crazy, 25%," and then we're starting to negotiate. Relax.
That's how it starts.
I'm throwing some things out.
You low ball or you high ball, and then you go and you meet in the middle.
I'll give you $10 for the house.
So Tom, what do you think is going to happen?
I think what's going to happen is, when there's suddenly Maros Sefcovic is going to be standing at the microphone with Howard Lutnick and with Jamieson Greer and especially Kevin Hassett. And they're going to be saying we've had productive talks. There's going to be movement as of May 1st. They're going to say a date. They're going to say productive. They're going to say movement. And then they're going to say a date. That's what you're going to see.
I like that.
And then you're going to see the American automakers say, we are pleased, relieved, and looking forward. That's what you're going to see.
All right, let's see what happens. All that means is
there's my prediction.
European cars may get slightly cheaper. If they get cheaper, that's a good thing for Americans. They're going to have to pay less. And what's that one
You
here?
want to talk about this story right
Let me
here.
see, this is why there's no relief ahead for high used car prices.
Wall Street Journal.
What is it saying?
Basically saying, don't expect to get any cheap, good cars anytime soon.
There's no free lunch.
Yeah, no. I mean, Brian had to sell 2 horses to get a car these days.
Patrick, I saw that.
When you have Brian type of money, man, you're in the horse business.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Eventually, we would like to aspire to get into the horse business.
That's it.
What Vinny's getting into a zoo business. We're about to get about 50 animals here for Vinny because Vinny is the real life. What was that movie where he could talk to
Dr. Doolittle?
No, Vinny's the real life one. The Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle.
Vinny can actually speak.
Noah's Ark.
He's the animal whisperer.
When animals see Vinny, there is an emotional connection and mutual respect I've never seen before.
Yeah,
the other day, we're walking the dogs, and a squirrel comes. This is a squirrel that attacks everybody.
Yeah.
He sees Vinny. I've never seen this before.
Right.
The squirrel's on four, stands up on 2 and goes like this to Vinny.
Yeah.
Goes like this to Vinny.
I'm gonna tell you something.
And I saw that. I'm like, I was 1 second too late because people don't believe me right now.
No, I believe
they think this is a spoof. The squirrel stood up like this, looked at Vinny, went like this.
Yeah.
That is an unspoken truth.
Wow.
Jungles, animals.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. I've seen sparrows land on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And I've seen squirrels run up his legs. Wow. And with Adam, I've seen rats and crows land on that guy. And that's when you know that he's evil.
Scarecrow. That's true.
So if it's rats and crows, it's bad.
Listen,
squirrels and sparrows, good.
If we know anything about Vinny, he's just a squirrel looking for a nut, and he does not use a condom.
I just sent one, and mind you, I know it's not Christmas, Brian, but I talk to them. Sometimes they sound like me. This one was a reindeer that's just running. Can we play this one, Pat?
This one went viral.
This one went viral. But just listen to the voice. Look how happy he is. Look how happy this little guy is.
Pat's got some tits.
Get through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. Merry Christmas, or the field we
He's just doing his own thing.
Vinny, why are all the animals gay?
That is hilarious.
Every single animal you run into is gay.
Reindeer.
He's a sassy.
He's a sassy reindeer.
That's a flamboyant reindeer.
Go
really rolling those
subscribe
asses.
to Valuetainment Comedy.
Yes.
They just crossed 276,000 subs.
Nice, man.
I believe they can get to 2 million by the end of the year. We're excited about what's going to happen there.
Please subscribe.
Comedy Club. It's about to be done, I think, in a week and a half. They're going to be done on February 28th.
And Brian's coming soon.
We got the sprinklers. We got all the stuff in there. We got the the bar, everything. So stay tuned, guys. Who knows? Maybe the opening will be Callen, Vinny, and
Rob.
Maybe Tom will do a 2-minute.
Tom has to.
We're selling
out. Joke, dad's joke.
Sell-out show.
Vinny's trying to get me to do it, and you know what?
And I think that'll do well.
True to me. I may do it.
Let's do it.
Brian, you're the man. We love you. Appreciate you. Guys, go to the Improv in Miami, okay? 2 tonight. Was it 2
one tonight?
1 tonight.
2 tomorrow, 2 Saturday.
And when is the Bolsonaro interview coming out?
Monday. Monday morning. We're getting the whole
that'll
thing
be
wrapped
before
up.
our next
I
PBD
am going to be
podcast,
in
right?
D.C. this weekend.
Okay.
I will be in D.C. this weekend, but we will be back next Tuesday for the podcast, and stay tuned for Monday, Bolsonaro. Obrigado. Everybody take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Incomivel.
Awesome.